Green. Howdy, howdy. There we go. Got everybody popping in saying hello. And what else we got here? Yeah, so the chat there. Up, we've got, sure enough, right there. Boom. I'm a little off to the side there. That's okay. All right. How are we all doing tonight? Is everybody having a good time? Is everybody having a wonderful Monday evening? Perhaps it's earlier where you are, or later. Well, here, it's 7:41. And I realize, kind of a weird middle time, but I had a few things I had to do before I could start the stream today. It's just nice to see you all here, so thank you for joining in. I really appreciate that. And yeah, so I know I sailed the seas last night without you guys. Well, you know, I invited people to show up if they had the notifications on, but if you don't have your notifications on, you might miss the boat. Just realized how dumb that sounds. Yeah, so anyway, we know what Mondays are for. Mondays are for the boys. Mondays are for detailing and girls who want to detail too. Let's not discriminate here. But anyway, I've got a wild list of all kinds of stuff to look at, and I want you guys to kind of help me pick as we go along. And of course, if there's stuff that you're interested in contributing to the actual show, well, by all means, drop them in here. I love when that happens. But before we go any further, I just need you guys to do me one favor, and that one favor is share this stream with somebody you know who hasn't already watched. I know there's probably a few of you out there who have already exhausted your friends list. That's okay, that's fine. I just really want those who can share, just throw it out there. I'm just trying to, spread the word, turn this into a thing. I'm really close to that 50 follower threshold, which apparently kicks me up into a new level, so I'm really excited to see what happens there. We're working on it. But yeah, in the meantime, it's just you, me, and this music that's still kind of playing in the background, but that's all right. We're just going to drown that out there. Okay, moving along. Yeah, and some of you are already friends with everybody in the chat, so that's also kind of a fun way of doing it. But let's pull up my React view with the large cam. That's right. Boom. Okay, so we got Dane's Detailing Reaction Farm, a playlist where I throw things together. Oh no. Alex, sad today. A very important piece broke off my beloved Manfrotto tripod I've had for 15 years. Thing has been through the ringer. Well, Manfrottos are seriously heavy-duty tripods. I love the Manfrotto tripods that I have had, and yeah, they hold up to some pretty rigorous stuff. So, I mean, it's a shame that it finally, kind of kicked the bucket a little bit, got bit, but at the same time, that's... 15 years, something is bound to happen. And yes, Tony, that's right. I want to make money off you guys. I want to make money off my friends. I want to shill and be terrible and just exhausting to be around. You're right. No, the reality is, yes, I would like to be able to monetize doing this stuff. I want to build it out so that I can, do something on the side too that's fun, but also rewarding, because the amount of hours you put into this stuff, if you're me, you realize, okay, that is a lot of sitting there and talking about things, and in a sense, providing content for free. But if people have to watch an ad an hour or something like that, whatever the case may be, I don't know how it works. I'm just along for the ride, and I hope you guys are too. But when it comes down to it, I think it is fun, and I think, amongst all the detailing voices that are out there, for better or for worse, I think I'm offering something a little bit different. So hopefully other people agree. Anyway, let's see. What do we got here? Currently folding some beautiful eagles. Well, love that. I thought spreading eagles was better. Well, Dan, it depends on the occasion. Yeah. So I really wanted to actually stream and do some super out there fun cut and jubilee videos yesterday, but I just got way too busy doing other stuff. I wanted to stream, but in the end, I compromised. The guys wanted to go sail the seas at the end of the day, and we did that. Several hours, and yeah, definitely a fun one. But cool. I haven't used wool before, but I've been a big fan of the foam ones. Was thinking of finally giving them a shot. Yeah, Flack, you should. They're definitely fun to try. Okay. Yeah, you guys talk pads. I'm going to go ahead and figure out what video we're going to watch first. Although, if you're wondering why it took me a little while to start the stream today, I wanted to start about an hour ago. But about an hour ago, I was still planning on redoing my auction with the T-Bird. Then some guy basically follows up and says, hey, I know I contacted you, last week, and I saw the auction, but then it just disappeared. What's up? I still want to buy the car. And the guy's local, so he's going to take a look tomorrow. Fingers crossed something happens, but I've been burned enough times before. I'm a little jaded. I'm just kind of like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, life goes on, and the auction will redo itself. But not until this guy gets a chance to go, because he says he has cash in hand ready to go. He just sold his pool cleaning business, and he's about it. So he wanted something to work on. Boy, have I got something for him. Okay, so shared the stream on the social. Thank you, Bucky VW, much appreciated. We like that around here. Okay, so I don't know what you guys are in the mood for in terms of detailing videos. Yeah, $3 cash in hand. That's right, Dan. It's just showing up. Yeah, my pool cleaning business was a bit of a bust. I didn't mention that part, but yeah, kind of times are tough. I seriously hope it works out too, Dan. Okay, where do we go? If we're doing a mostly detailing Monday, in all these detailing, yeah, sexy pool boy, in all these times of doing Mondays for detailing, I haven't watched a single Ammo NYC video. Our buddy Larry, I haven't watched any of his, but I saw he recently had a video come out with an NA Miata that looks just like mine when I got it, and it only has 1,500 miles and it's for sale. Wow. Hey, Mod Hatter. Nice to see you back here. We're going to watch a video of Larry working on a Miata. Now, some of you may have already seen this. I'm guessing a lot of people subscribe to these, but I'll throw it out there. Alex, what you posting there? It looks like an Instagram story or something. Oh, no. Oh, no. What have we got here? Oh dear. I can't really adjust the volume on that. It's just going to be loud.
Real men of genius.
Real men of genius.
Okay, and on that note. All right. So, yeah, story. No, that was bad. The Miata video? Okay, we need you to play a simulator. I can't play it on my Mac. That sucks. I wanted to. I absolutely want to. But, oh, man. Let's see. What can we do? Well, let's watch Larry do his thing. How about that? Pull that up there.
Hey guys, on today's episode, we're working on this 1990 Mazda Miata with an original 1,500 miles. In fact, the top hasn't ever been put down. This is a true time capsule. The battery and the oil filter are the only things that have been changed from 1990 on this car. But the paint is in some need of love, so we're gonna do that today on this episode of Drive and Protect.
Apologies with the mic picking up the audio. I increased the sensitivity of the mic to try and offset some of the cutoff. I noticed it was cutting off when I was speaking lower tones in previous videos. So I tried to loosen it up a little bit, but in the process, I'm afraid I may have loosened it up a little too much. So I'm going to play the video, but while I do that, I'm going to be adjusting this. So bear with. Go ahead and watch the video. I'm going to try and make sure I get this dialed in just right.
This is a first-gen Miata purchased in July of 1990 and has been hiding in a Long Island garage its entire life. The owner passed away, causing the estate to now look for a new home for this time capsule. The MX-5 Miata was originally unveiled at the Chicago Auto Show in 1989, and it came with a 1.6-liter dual overhead cam inline 4-cylinder, producing roughly about 115 horsepower with 100 foot-pounds of torque.
It was actually a motor, if I recall correctly, derived from the Ford Escort, although Mazda used it a bunch. I mean, Ford and Mazda were like that back then, so
double wishbone independent suspension on all four corners, four-wheel disc
Dual
brakes,
overhead
tiny little
cam.
14-inch radials, and weighing just
tasty.
over 2,000 pounds. Now, these quickly became favorites of the hardcore drivers, especially in the 5-speed manual like this one here. Although the speed itself isn't staggering with a 0 to 60 in 8.9 seconds and a top speed of about 116 miles an hour, however,
I
the
felt
miles
the
per
top speed
hour
in
are
Miata,
off the
yes.
charts, and you're guaranteed to find at least one of these at every single track day in the country.
They're the freaking funnest. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, it's too slow. Oh, it's this. It's like, yeah, but you know what? You carry speed in a corner way more than you should, and it is so much fun. Okay, moving down the line here. Get my Chatterino to update itself. There we go. Miata looks so out of place with professionally dressed business people. Yeah. Are you happy with the new desk setup, Dane? Okay. Yes, I am. I love this card. Oh, my Lord. Also, I heard you found out my identity. Yes, Mod Hatter. I found out because Glenn really wasn't good at keeping her mouth shut. But that's okay. That's cool. I love that you're here. So please enjoy. And let's see what else. We've got the new desk setup. Right. So now I've got a dual screen setup. So I can actually have like my live stream control station on my right here where I can adjust, mic settings and everything. But then over here in front of me, I've actually got my windows open where I can, do what I got to do and actually react to stuff. I got my chat window, all those things. So now it's a little better distributed. One of my monitors, though, is an extra wide to begin with. So actually, it's kind of like almost having 3 monitors. It's just, it's going to take a little getting used to. So hopefully you guys are all right with it. One of the casualties, though, was my boom arm for the mic. Now the way this is set up, I'm a little limited on space. So I just basically brought it forward. And it's a Blue Yeti mic, so it can sit on a stand. Actually, I haven't messed with the pickup pattern on this guy, though. All right, we'll try that. That ought to work. Anyway, let's continue.
Amazing, affordable, fun sports car. Anyhow, the owner was a fellow Narada car collector who kept...
And Flack, you're right. I honestly don't know who you are yet. So Flack Pyro. I imagine there's nothing that ties you back to your identity in the group. Alex, if you were in the woods of Idaho, what car would you film with your friends? If I was in the woods of Idaho, it would have to be some kind of rally car. I'd be very into that. Either that or like my van, some kind of imported 4-wheel drive, fun off-road or bogging through the mud, going over tree stumps, that kind of cool stuff. I'd like that.
Every piece of paper, from the sales to the repairs to window stickers to even each insurance card over its lifetime. Completely crazy. I love it. His estate mentioned that the convertible top has never been put down. The only thing that's changed is the oil and the filter every single year, despite really only being driven the majority of its 1,500
Okay, speaking from experience, the back windows on those things is usually the first thing to go.
miles
They wear
in
out
its
fast.
first 3 years, meaning from 1990 to 1993. That's it.
And he's got the little...
So
Yeah,
for my first step
spec
is just to
lip.
get the car on the lift and remove the wheels to see if there's anything that's been living inside, underneath, besides the spider webs that I'm seeing everywhere.
Yeah, but look how clean those caps are. Nice underneath.
Like a glove.
That doesn't look bad at all.
This one goes here. Front wheel goes here.
They do like to collect sand and dirt, though. Especially in those channels right behind the front wheel wells. Yeah.
Step 1 is to fill the foamer with foam and boost. Pull out the pressure.
Oh no, Alex. Yeah, like the 323 GTX. I'd be down with that, CJ Byrne. Yeah, absolutely. Philip, what card collector? What, Larry? My avatar on here would tie me back to the YouTube live streams. Well, Flag Pyro, I guess it's a good thing I can't see your avatar, so I'd have no idea. You wouldn't happen to film any Honda project cars, would you? Well, I did film a project car, Honda or otherwise, for a well-known YouTuber who refuses to reveal his identity, yet is pretty well known amongst all the people I've got here. So that's a fun one, but I'm not spilling the beans here. He told me it's probably another week or so before he actually tells y'all what it is. I will say, though, it's fun. I like it. I like it a lot. It's actually a car or a vehicle or a bus or a van or a wagon or a whatever that I did consider at one time. I did. All right, back to the video.
Washer, and then rinse the spider webs and whatever else I could flush out from underneath.
Winter drives 2323 GTXs? That's sick. That's awesome. Ronald Teddy's on a Miata. Oh, man. Those freaking wheels, the bane of all existence.
Next, I coated the undercarriage and let the cleaner soak in a bit before scrubbing.
That and like SN95 Mustang 3 spokes. Ugh. Don't mind me, I'm just gonna eat a little ramen over here.
See, more bugs. Everywhere. More bugs. Look at these.
Why did I choose to eat the ramen right as he's doing that? Oh,
Yeah.
no, why?
So if you're asking yourself, why am I scrubbing this down? It's for that reason right there.
Thanks,
Look at this.
Larry.
Even the boot is clean, which is like never clean. Look at that.
Afterwards,
evening,
I used
Albino
compressed air
Rhino.
and a blue towel to quickly wipe down a few
Thanks for
areas.
watching the stream
and
last
it was
night.
as
Appreciate
if it
that.
came directly from the factory. Everything was really perfect underneath.
Yeah, Mod Hatter, basically, ASMR with Dave. I deliberately tuned it so you can't hear my noodles, though. Thank God.
With the bottom now inspected, bugs removed, and everything touched up, I power washed the paint.
True, Alex, true. I don't want anything to do with mouse nests and stuff. You turn on the car and it starts to smell like dead, critters.
Clearly, this isn't a disaster detail, but if you do look close enough, you can see that there's wax residue pretty much everywhere,
Oh,
which
yeah.
can be a challenge to remove and is also an
My
indication
Miata
of someone who
collected that
loves the
stuff
car
like
because
trophies.
they waxed it on a regular basis.
Those
If you
little
look closely inside the
indicators
edges and the
really
numbers
like
on all the
collecting
lights, they
too.
have old wax buildup which turns white.
So much.
when you're power washing, be sure to let the pressure of the water remove as much of that as possible before hitting it
that's
later
cool,
with smaller
Dan.
brushes. Same thing on the engine compartment. It's a crazy time capsule, but needed a bit of cleaning and future polishing to remove a thick, greasy layer of grime. When I did that, I revealed beautiful paint underneath, but it did need a little bit of swirl removal.
I just want to say for the record, the Miata engine bay is like one of the most forgiving and easy to learn on engine bays for anybody looking to get into like working on cars and stuff. That first generation Miata and the second gen, because it shares so much in common. The NA, the MB, very similar engine bays. But the NA is like the simplest of them all. It's so nice to be able to work, have access to everything, and learn like what parts are and where they go and how they function. It was just such a great tool for applying that later if you're not super familiar with cars. It's a good place to start.
Before I added the soap, I applied Titan degreaser to help loosen up that grime I just mentioned on the engine. Then I foamed everything and just let it do its work.
Boom. No problem, Mod Hatter. I'm speaking from experience here. I loved my Miata. I really regret selling it, but
Next, I
at the
filled
time
both
I
the paint
kind
and
of
wheel
felt
bucket
like I
with
had
foam
to.
and Brute respectively, along with a paint microfiber towel and the wheel brush.
Dan, better than a Z4. Better than a Z3 in terms of build quality, I will say. The Miata, while it was definitely cheaper inside in terms of like the materials used and stuff, they held up to the elements and just general use better than that Z3 did. When the Z3 had like adhesive starting to wear off and things started to disconnect, there were a lot of places where it wasn't just a simple screw in, screw out kind of deal like the Miata was. So I really, really love the mechanical simplicity of the Miata while still being modern enough that you still have fuel injection. You've got basic things you'll find in more modern cars. but at the same time, it just gives you that feeling of, oh, I can actually work on this. I just really like it. Highly recommend to anybody looking to get into working on a car and you want to have a little project car. God, they're the best. That, or one of my colleagues will convince you that
Using a brush in
Hondas
the
are
wash
the way to go
process can be
instead,
really
which,
helpful,
I
especially
mean,
in
that's
those old
fine.
wax parts I just mentioned.
But the Hondas are fail-wheel drive, whereas this is wind-wheel drive. So, make decision wisely.
Reaching the tight spots, etc. But I only really use this technique when I know that I'm going to be polishing anyways, just in case the brush kicks around some dirt and then scuffs the paint. So you want to be conscious of that.
Oh, NX 2000s. I love those, CJ. Yeah. Love the NX 2000. Now I realize that's not rear-wheel drive either, but the NX is just such a cool little design.
After the final rinse and blow dry,
People
I
always
focused
forget
on
what
the
they are,
wheels,
too. They
which
don't know
weren't
what they are when
really
they see
that
them.
bad, but needed some love to match the upcoming paint restoration. To do this, I rinsed first, sprayed Plum wheel cleaner, and then scrubbed with a 2-tier wheel brush on both the wheel and the tire as well.
I'm just amazed at how clean this Miata is. I wonder how often it really went outside. To only have 1,500 miles?
The difference was quite substantial, and you can see just how much brown
That's
junk
crazy.
came off on the floor. Okay, at this point, the undercarriage, the
Oh,
wheels,
Dan, I
the
would
wheel
have
wells,
loved
and
to
the
drive the
engine
ND.
are
It would
clean.
have been
Same
so
thing with
fun
the
to
paint. You can
compare
hear
to my
there's no
NA
contamination.
experience.
Why? Because this car was left inside. It's also single stage. I just did a test panel, and we're using a foam pad with foam.
Fun fact, the Miata, thanks to Levi and learning that, I'd never actually polished a car or anything prior to having the Miata there, but Levi taught me, the difference between single stage and clear coat and all those things, which I understand. Like, some people out there, if you're into that, you understand the differences. It's kind of second nature for a detailer's kind of mindset, but hey, there's people out there who don't know this stuff. And since I wasn't into the detailing, world, a lot of this stuff was new information to me. So learning about single stage, and yes, you're going to turn your pad red, but when you're working on clear, you just can't see it, but there's still just as much shit there. That was important to learn. So I really appreciated that. And yes, Alex, single stage is incredibly satisfying to polish because when it's bad, it's chalky. It looks so rough. It just looks, ooh, this oxidized garbage. But as soon as you polish it, it comes out looking like this. Amazing. Love it. I hit Alt instead of space. Whoops.
Foam pad polish. You're doing 1 or 2 passes, blowing it out, and it works absolutely fantastic. Why? Because the paint is
Yes, they were,
incredibly
CJ,
soft.
bro. They really
Typically
were
on
a
Miatas, but this
revelation.
one here is very soft. Now, as a detailer, you sort of have to step back. There's 2 kind of interesting points here. One, the gentleman who owned this has since passed. This has gone to his estate and is going up for sale, and obviously here for me to kind of prep it and get it to look at the best. When you think about most cars, let's say they're in 20% condition, like really horrible, dead animals, that kind of thing inside, and I take it up to 60 or 70%, that is a massive change. It's like, oh my gosh, and it's relatively simple yet laborious. When you get to a car like this one, it's about 80, 85%. It looks pretty good. It's not that dirty. There's little touches here and there. That's where it actually gets more difficult. So this gentleman probably took it to a car wash from what I read in the estate. He took it to a car wash, loved it, did oil changes, that kind of thing. When someone's that meticulous, there's a couple things that pop out. One, if he's waxing it every day, which I believe that he did, there's little creases and crevices kind of full of wax. So you have to go back there and kind of clean that up, which can, of course, be tedious. Second,
Dan, I've driven an NX 2000. I actually really liked it. That said, still front wheel drive, so it's a little different animal, but I love the short wheelbase. It's similar in dimensions to like an NA Miata type car, but you got yourself a hatchback. That's fun. And obviously you have the earlier iteration of the Nissan NX where you could get the crazy change out the hatchback for like a shooting brake style wagon back. It was really cool. I think Freddie Tavares has 1 or 2 of those as well.
when somebody is trying to buy a car with 1,500 miles, like when this goes up for sale in the auction or estate or wherever it's going, right? When it goes up there, the person who's going to buy a 1,500 mile car is going to inspect this like crazy. So the level from going like an 80 or 85 and bringing it up to 95%, the higher or closer you get to 100, meaning a perfect car, Concours, Pebble Beach, the harder it becomes to make that
You're dealing
perfect.
with a
So keep
different
that in mind
kind
when you're
of
doing it. So
buyer.
if you're looking at go, oh, this is an easy job,
it's actually a harder job to do from a relative perspective versus cleaning dead animals out, that kind of.
I actually really appreciate that he's saying this because it's incredibly true, and I think it's something that a lot of people overlook. They don't see, you know, oh, it's an easy job kind of thing. It's like, well, actually, if you're gonna try and make a noticeable difference, the job just became a lot more difficult, and it's especially challenging when you've got buyers hovering around waiting for it to happen.
Kind of thing. So keep that in mind when you're taking on a project
Oh,
like
of
this.
course I
Make sure
remember
you
the
charge
Geostorm,
appropriately. Make
CJ.
sure you-
CJ, I feel like you have a car type, and it's so funny because I'm just saying Geostorm, Nissan NX 2000. I'm guessing, yeah, so something like the 323, or I would also say like a Pulsar, or maybe an Isuzu Impulse, which it has a lot in common with like a Geostorm.
you give enough time to be able to give it what it actually needs and deserves. So in this case, one step polish, we're going to do the rest of the car. It's going to look awesome.
I figured, CJ. It's okay. I'm known as the weird car guy too, so I mean, if you were to talk about any of these cars with Levi or Anthony, their eyes would glaze over. Levi might hear me and be like, haha, I remember those cars. But I'm probably the only one of us who would actually go, yes, tell me more. And that's where I feel I can bring a unique voice to this stuff. Which is why I'm
The
doing the
combination
streaming.
of super soft paint and light swirls, what I refer to as love marks from constant wiping or low lubricated washes, usually only requires a one-step polish to restore. Now, this is great for you as a detailer because it avoids a two-step process. Of course, it's much faster and less taxing on your body, meaning physically. But from the car's perspective, you're typically removing less paint with a one-step polish than you would with a two-step compound and then polish, especially only with 3 to 4
true,
mils
CJ.
at most on the car.
true.
So soft paint for the win here.
And Dan, yeah, you should be able to correct a ZNA. Same color as this one. I mean, my Miata was the exact same color as well. I mean, my Miata was this Miata. For all intents and purposes, front to back, top to bottom. I basically had this. The difference was when I bought mine, it had 198,000 miles on it, and I drove it until I had about 220,000 miles on it. So I had it for a little while there, but I absolutely loved it. Ran just as good as the day I bought it when I sold it. Yeah, no, I absolutely love that little thing. So, yeah. It's a hard thing to replace because every other car feels significantly heavier, more, you know, belabored in its movements and stuff. It's just such an effortless little car, minus the fact that it takes a lot of effort just to get up to standard traffic speeds. Well, and CJ also, when it comes to being a baller on a budget, yeah, so that's like why I bought my Jag. Is it was the absolute most car I could find that met my particular, very particular characteristics I was looking for. That, I mean, it looks like a much more expensive car because when it was new it was, but doing enough research online, I found that the Jaguar XKR, specifically the X150 generation, which is the second generation XKR, which is, you know, that body style, those are actually incredibly reliable. They also introduced an aluminum monocoque, all kinds of special things that actually make the car pretty special, pretty lightweight. It's not just a Mustang and drag, as so many want to say, my coworkers included. But no, it's actually, it's its own unique thing. And for 23 grand, which I picked it up for, you'd be hard pressed to find anything close. Anything close. It's definitely, for me, it was, I want a V8, I want a rear wheel drive, and I wanted a hatchback, and Corvettes were too common. So at that point, you're looking going, yeah, what do you pick? Kind of tricky because all the, you know, Mustangs and Camaros are also super common, but they're a trunk. And while the Corvette has a hatchback, it's just a hatch glass. There's space up there, but not a ton. And also the interiors of Corvettes. I drove some C5s, some C6s. Couldn't quite, you know, afford a C7 at the time I was looking. It was not happening. And for the money, my Jag had 510 horsepower stock. Now I modified it. Now I'm at 650, smaller pulley, upgraded ECU, all that stuff. Still, I'm well under 30 grand into the car, and the thing will absolutely smoke anything close to it. The best deal I could think of would be like a C6 Z06 is an amazing value for a driver's car. Like, I think the Corvette C6 generation Z06 is a great car. Has its flaws, but it's a great car. The downside is just that interior. You can look past it when you're on a racetrack, but when it's day to day, those squeaks and rattles just get really annoying. And it's one of those things, you just kind of feel it. But yeah, no, exactly, CJ. That's why I picked my Jag. People make fun. They're just like, oh, you just wanted to be bougie. It's like, no, it just fit very particular protocol I was looking for, and it was the best thing in the budget. The next best thing would be like an Aston Martin Vantage V8, like the one Doug DeMuro had that he sold to Freddie Tavares. And that one was great. I actually sat in that car when Doug visited town here, and yeah, you let me through it, and it was really cool. But at the same time, like, while the Aston looks a little bit more exotic than even my Jag does, it's 420 horsepower, naturally aspirated V8. You do get the manual, which is a huge bonus. Don't get that in the Jag. But my Jag, I mean, I got heated and cooled seats. It's the whole deal. Like, I just love the package that it represents. And I can't find anything else that comes close for the money. It just, there's nothing else like it out there for the money. Exactly, CJ. The C6 Z06.
With the paint
started
now
to
looking
appreciate
like
again.
glass, I focused on the 3-inch areas and taped off the convertible top to avoid having to put it down per the family's request.
And yeah, Alex, I'm not afraid of some miles. Like, I bought my Miata with a shit ton of miles. It was pink when I bought it. It wasn't even red. It was so chalked out, so just oxidized, just so rough. And the top had a helmet-sized tear in the area where the driver sat. So literally, if it rained, you just get it right on your head, but nowhere else. I mean, it was not in great shape in terms of cosmetics. However, mechanically, it was very sound. So I was super excited when I got that thing fired up and was able to drive it back from La Grande, Oregon, back to Boise here. Couple hours, a little brave with a car that you don't know anything about. I picked it up for $1,200. Can't find an NA Miata that runs for $1,200 anymore. I would just, it's a different world now.
Afterwards, I also polished the door jambs with my 3-inch. Lastly, I polished under the hood jambs, and the edging compartment by machine and hand. When all the polishing was done, I cleaned up the interior by first removing the mats and vacuuming. Then I worked lather into the doors, the jambs, the dash, and of course the center console. For the cloth seats, I used shag first, rubbed it in by hand instead of a brush because the seats are a bit unique in terms of the soft cloth material. With shag and the fibers, I then used the steam vac to suck out the remaining dirt.
He's right about the fibers
the
on
carpets,
that.
and of course the floor mats.
They're a little bit different. Something about early 90s Japanese cars, they just had this
As a
particular
safety
cloth
step
they
for the
use.
new buyer, once the interior was cleaned up with lather, I went in and disinfected the material with Restore by spraying it on and let
Alex, from all I understand, it's just one of those more than you can afford, pal situations. But I think also there's the friends and family discounts that may find their way in there. Obviously, if you find your way into a shop and you're recommended by a buddy or something, who knows? But no, all my interactions with Larry have been super positive. Met him at SEMA a number of times. When we go on our East Coast adventure, he's there at Phil's shop with Detailer's Domain. Yeah, no, it's a good time. Really like the guy. He's a super solid guy. So it's always nice to know that the people that you see in videos, like, are they who you think they are? In his case, he's just an honestly like super passionate about what he does kind of guy, and he's extremely savvy, and it shows.
letting it sit for 2 minutes before wiping it off. This is an EPA registered product, so please read the directions
Yeah,
carefully.
Alex, the
but
carpet.
I encourage you to use it on your
Mine
steering
was
wheel at the
shockingly
very
in good
minimum
shape.
at least once a
Don't know
month.
how,
This
with that
alone
big hole in
will
the
drop
roof,
the
but it
number of
was.
germs and bacteria on the biggest hotspot in your car, the steering wheel. Finally, I
As for a literal hotspot in the Mazda Miata, the NA specifically, this generation, the transmission tunnel under your right arm there gets pretty toasty. You can feel it coming through. It's pretty warm.
applied mousse to the surface for UV protection and to moisturize the 32-year-old material inside. Be sure to buff it off after a few minutes for a matte finish.
Crank windows just like mine. Had a different stereo, but that was about it.
Next, I went back to the wheels and applied Gillette Pro, both front and backside. Same thing on some
I'm just
of the
curious to see if
exposed
this one has
suspension
AC or
components
not,
as well.
because mine didn't. Mine was like absolute
While the
bare.
coatings were curing, I played with all the
bare
heavy wax
basement
buildup
bottom.
areas. Now, to do this, I used
You get the
wrapper
idea.
remover and a seam and stitch brush. After spraying the solvent on the heavy wax buildup, use the seam and stitch brush to gently agitate the area. Make sure that you're not scuffing the area at the same time, and then gently wipe it dry. On non-painted areas like the lights and the reflectors, you can use a little bit of a stiffer
Dan.
bristle brush on
People
the
know who
stubborn
he
areas.
is, so.
After installing and torquing the super light and tiny wheels,
The best thing I could say on that front is he's extremely cognizant of like the image he presents and how he portrays himself in all these scenarios, and it pays off. I mean, he's got the appeal that it transcends a lot of different boundaries. There are people just have a level of respect for it because he's just doing his thing, but he really just, I don't know, you feel good watching and supporting this stuff, whereas some other detailing personalities that kind of look and go, people get a little iffy around, but Larry's a stand-up guy.
I noticed the plastic hubcaps had some dried up wax in them too, sort of hiding the black contrast on the wheel from
yeah,
Mazda to
don't like
the
that.
silver. It just didn't look good. So it was now time for toothpick therapy. So enjoy.
Nice.
The before and after was huge in just a few minutes of work. Now, these are the smallest little differences that matter the most, especially on a 32-year-old car with
True.
1,500 miles in the eyes of a potential buyer. So the idea is power washing, and then the camera comes in and I'm like this. Hey guys, on today's episode, we're about to power wash this. And it goes super wide and there's a battleship behind me. Pulls out on a drone. $1 million idea. Next, I lifted the car again and installed Reflex Pro coating to protect the super soft paint and hopefully minimize the swirls in the future. Now, at this point, the paint is looking as if it's dripping wet, which is obviously the goal.
Glad
Red
you're enjoying your
single-stage
sandwich
paint is
there,
by
Jamie.
far my favorite to polish, and then of course the coat. There's something about it I don't know, but man, it literally glows when you see it in person.
True, Jamie. Running a graphene deficit.
I also put Reflex on the super smooth black trim instead of Frame Pro because Frame works best on semi-textured trim and not gloss black areas like this one here.
For those who, once again, like Mod Hatter, are in the market for an NA Miata, that black part he was going over underneath the doors there is just the body, but with like a protective coating on it. But all the Miatas that I've seen of the NA generation had that, at least in the early years. So it's something different on top of the paint. It is not plastic like this front little lip is or anything like that. It's painted, I think, or some kind of like some kind of cover. But yeah, if I go back to it, this stuff, right? See where he's wiping here? Yeah, my Miata had the same thing. Granted, it was a little bit, worn off in some spots, but it almost behaved sort of like an undercoating, but it had the finish more like paint. So it was kind of a weird one where it felt like they just painted a lower section of the car black on the red car, which is how it felt on mine. Now, granted, when I had my Miata and it was cheap and I didn't really mind doing some cosmetic mods that the other guys made fun of me for, but I was just having fun with it, was I took that idea of the black on the bottom and I brought it up even more until I effectively two-toned the entire car, which to me looked cool, but was definitely not for everybody. So, I mean, to each their own. Anyway, just giving you a heads up if you're shopping there, Mod.
Flex on the super smooth black trim instead of Frame Pro,
smoked
because
ribs.
Frame works best on
You guys got some
semi-textured
fun
trim
stuff going
and
on for
not
dinner. All
gloss
right.
black areas like this one here.
It's blowing my ramen out of the water
Last
here.
but not least, I cleaned the exhaust pipe by hand, applied mud tire dressing to the tiny rubber, and cleaned the glass with multiple towels and a squeegee. Towel applicators, paper towels, I'll get some ramen noodles, a GT3, we'll get some lawn chairs. Wait, what?
What was that? Oh, wow. Felt a little called out there for a second. Also, those wheels are 14-inch, and the wheel design is called the Daisy, if you're wondering. Organic peanut butter is trash, by the way. Needs more sugar. Needs more sugar.
For the convertible top, I put a super light layer of mousse just for the UV protection aspect and then buffed it off immediately afterwards, and it looked great, especially when we pulled it outside.
Oh yeah, Alex, I'm glad you liked that. That was Anthony's idea, and I fully supported it. It was great. 404 graphene not found. Yeah, so that was a fun one. So also, Mod, for these tops on the NA Miatas, MBs share a lot of the same architecture. They're really very similar. The MB is really just a refreshed NA. But for the NA, as I experienced it, on the top, if you ever get somebody who like has an NA Miata for sale and they go, I have a top that I bought, I just haven't put it on the car yet, and the top is just the fabric, not with like a frame or anything, be really sure that you want to invest the effort into trying to fit that fabric onto the frame, because that was the single most just pain-inducing, curse word flinging, just I was fucking pissed, basically trying to put that fabric that I thought, oh, $200, I bought a top, I put it onto the frame and I'm good, because I had to take the other one out. First of all, taking the existing convertible top off of the existing frame of the car, huge pain in the ass. Huge. Like, I eventually just got so upset with it that I whipped out like a big, pair of scissors, just shears, and I just literally cut the thing off. But I still had to separate it from parts of the frame. It was bad, really bad. So then, in addition to that, I had the new fabric that had to go onto the frame as it exists, the kind of like scissor lift looking frame, and put the top on. And sure enough, I discovered, I have to teach myself how to rivet things. I'm sitting there, trying to do the rivets. It was a pain in the ass. So, if you have the good fortune to find somebody, like, say you buy an NA because it's a really good deal, the top is shit, but you can figure that out later, you got the car, that's okay, fine. If it's a good deal, work with it, because unfortunately, NAs are getting harder and harder to find for a good deal these days. But even a basic one will be super fun. But when you get the top, if you get a top that's already on a frame, and all you have to do is unbolt the existing frame with your top on it in the car, take that out because it's trash now, put in a new frame and top, million times easier, way easier. So just as a heads up. For perspective, you're saying take it to a pro. Yeah, it can get pretty expensive when you take it to a pro, because they also know it's going to be a pain in the ass. A friend in San Antonio has done that a few times and charges $500 to install. Honestly, for the amount of work that I put in on mine, yeah, $500 to install is on the cheap side. For real. Yeah, no, I think back to the time I spent. I literally spent 4 or 5 days in a row in a hot garage just yelling fuck you, convertible top, for hours and hours on end. But yeah, it was a rough time, so not for everybody. Yeah, beyond that, NAs are all rotten here in the Midwest. They rust pretty bad. Yeah, I think sometimes people get them exposed to the wrong stuff, and I think in the Rust Belt, obviously, Up east, yeah, things are a little rougher. Here in Idaho, it's great. Like I can find most Miatas still all in one piece. They're not, rotted out or anything like that. Just got to find southwestern or at least western car for the most part, and you'll be all right. Look at that little beauty.
Well, guys, we're all done, and the Miata looks absolutely amazing. 1,500 miles, and just a quick reminder, this is
Very
for
trip-free
sale. The
windshield,
gentleman who
but then
owned it
again, that's
previously
expected for
has
the
since passed
age.
and has gone to his estate, so this is up for a new home. He took amazing care of it. Clearly, he loved the car. It just came in to sort of get those last little
Jamie, that's right, I'm cussing.
6% of detailing back. The paint came back, all little edges with wax, that kind of thing. The
Yeah,
interior
Fred,
super
cover
clean.
your
The
ears.
engine is spectacularly clean. So if you're interested, I'll put a link in the
That's the thing, guys. This is my stream, my rules. A little bit different. That's okay. You're here for a reason, right? So, yeah.
description down below. Hope you enjoyed. I love saving these things, and I hope to see this thing back out on the road very soon. As always, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Nice. Good job, Larry. Not that he needs to hear it, but, give him a thumbs up. That was a good video. I felt like I got something out of it. So, let's go back to the detail reaction farm. What have I got here? There's some detail supplies. Do you guys want to look at more product-oriented stuff, or do you want to look at more off-kilter detailing stuff, like these Game Boys and things? Or would you like to take a look at good old-fashioned, regular, filthy detail? Actually, you know what? Maybe we already watched that one. They had a different one though. They had a PPF one that caught my attention. Gosh darn fiddlesticks! Oh, you're getting almond butter now. Yeah, butter from almonds, huh? Yeah. Let's see. So we've also got Larry doing the Countach. Got a guy who went from $500 to $30K a month doing a mobile detailing business. I find that believable, although not without a few particular, things you gotta change up in the way you do your business. Car washes might be scamming you with soap. That's an older Donut Media video. Got a lot of stuff down here, but oh boy. Oh, customer asked for a discount after we confirm prices. How many of you guys have dealt with that? That sounds like a not great time waiting to happen. We've also got straight up detailing porn with Gears and Gasoline, who I know shoot just a beautiful, beautiful video. $600 dent repair versus a cheap hot glue gun. Oh boy. Oh yeah, Vermil is fantastic. Got to meet him in person when we were in the Netherlands. Very nice guy. Although, admittedly, like, I only got to meet him, like, super briefly. Like, shook his hand, said hi, and then the other guys, like, we're talking with him. So I was trying to shoot video. But he seemed very cool. Yeah, so we've got... What his videos are interesting. His camera dude is annoying. Oh, no. Hunter. Which one is Hunter? Oh, Hunter's mobile... Oh, okay. Yeah, he got me with the titles. I was looking at his thumbnails and his titles, and I was like trying to be the trying to be the person who's just like, okay, who's clicking on these videos, who's falling for this stuff, who's trying. So yeah, I'm always curious to see how people, put their spin on it, their approach. Yeah. We got deep cleaning disaster. You know what? Before we get into like detailing, why don't like edit yourself out, dude? Jamie, as a camera guy myself who likes to interject on things, I'll say I know my place. I know there's a time and a place for where I can interject, and then other times, doesn't make sense. Don't do it. Keep your mouth shut. That's not that kind of video. And that's okay. I understand the difference. But let's go ahead and watch a little Donut Media. I know it's not for everybody, but, have a little fun here. We'll do a $600 dent repair versus a cheap hot glue gun. And we'll see DIY or don't.
This is like more annoying than my hair. Can $200 worth of dent removal tools do better than $600 worth of professional work? Let's see if I can fix these dents without ruining the paint. Should I DIY? Or should I don't?
Thanks to CarParts.com for sponsoring today's video. Everyone struggles with relationships, and your relationship with your car is no different.
Thank you, Jeremiah.
Acts like I'm gonna. So admit
Another
it. You're looking to
Yada.
replace just now.
Car you would replace
Sensitive right
today.
Good Miata.
Welcome to DIY or Don't. Today we're going to tackle paintless dent repair and find out whether or not it's worth trying to do yourself or if it's a job best left to the pros. Sure, sometimes doing stuff yourself might save you a little money, but you got to consider the effort it's going to take, the amount of time it's going to take, and at the end of the day, are you going to be able to do as good of a job as a pro could? Today we're going to be using two cars you may recognize to try to fix some dents. We've picked out 2 dents on each car, and we've got ourselves a pro, and he's going to tackle the Miata while I try my hand at the
Oh God, that
E36.
looks like such a mess.
That's not the right amount of heat, I guess. Dent repair seems easy enough if you watch enough infomercials and TikTok videos where they just pour some hot water onto a dent and it pops right out. But is it that easy? The biggest thing you might stumble on with dents is that, like people, they're all different. Each dent is different and you need to treat them as such. And if you don't treat them right,
Oh no. Is there good media out there on how to fix botched paint corrections? Asking for a friend. Yeah, so if you're looking for good paint correction fixing stuff, are you talking about somebody who left like halos and swirls and that kind of stuff? Basically, they tried to do, you know, a little bit of perfecting of the paint, and instead they made it worse in their own unique way with their tools. Just trying to figure out what the exact problem is. Alex saying, I'm submitting some voiceover demos for TOC. Kind of want to put it through a Morgan Freeman voice tweaker dealio. Yeah, Alex, that sounds like a good idea. Jamie, as long as there's some zoom on them voiceovers, it's gonna be fire.
right, you might wreck your paint. There are a lot of different methods to fixing a dent. The old drill and pull method, body filler, but some dents can even be fixed without affecting your paint. Paintless dent repair uses heat and an array of bending and pulling tools to flex the metal back into place, slowly reversing how the dent was made in the first place. It doesn't work for every dent, but you'd be surprised how severe a dent can be and still be saved by a paintless dent repair pro. You gotta check and
love
see
these
what
janky
material
models they
your
use
dent
for
is
that.
actually dented in. Is it plastic on the bumper or metal on somewhere else on the
Oh no, tried to patch up deep scratches and it's lumpy. Like, oh, when you say paint correction, are you talking about like you tried to use touch-up paint? Like you were using touch-up paint and then it blotted along and you left like lumpy trails? I'm just trying to figure out like what you're doing there. I'm sure we can help. Yes, we'll have to see it in person. I know you're available during the day at some point. Just show us the car that's on and we can take a look. I love how CGI is hugging an Adam's bottom with the car. Yeah, no, that's a fun touch. I like that. Maybe the best use of
car.
this.
Is it super deep? Are there creases? Is it on a body line? All those things are gonna make it probably more difficult to deal with and gonna take some tricks that you might not have up your sleeve. So how do I make sure that my paint doesn't just end up as a pile of flakes on the floor?
Also,
Well, our pro
Alex is right. As a spoiler alert to this, unless something amazing happens, there's really no way that they're going to do a better job than the pro, let alone for the amount of money. I mean, it's $200. It's not nothing in repair the car yourself parts versus paying another guy $600, but not getting to be able to keep the tools at the end. I get there's a slight difference there, but man, when a pro does it, it is like it never happened. When a really good pro gets in there and just works, finesses the dent out, because it does. It takes time. It takes, you know, a lot of patience and an understanding of like how to, I guess, reverse engineer how that dent got there in the first place. It's interesting. Yeah, buy once, cry once.
Here to tell us just that. This is Jason, our pro today. He's a
Simon had it. Yes. DIY PDR sounds like a terrible idea. Yeah, I agree. I was going to ask, I'm so sorry I can't describe it, but yeah, previous owner used a touch-up pen and botched it. Yeah. To be fair, a lot of people who use those pens, they think it's going to be magic and they're just going to draw on the card and suddenly the scratch is going to go away, but it's really never the case. It's always something awful. So yeah, I would not recommend that. Yeah, throwing bottles of F11 at it would write the car off. Yeah, true. I think they would be so hard they could legit crack that metal in half. Yeah, no, Dr. Color Chip for the win. That's true, Flack. If we're going to get you turned on to anything, Mod, it's going to have to be something like Dr. Color Chip. You're probably going to spend somewhere between 70 to 90 bucks to get a little kit and stuff, but to do it right will be so much better. It'll be like you won't be able to see it anymore. That's the most important thing. Will it be perfect? No. But will it actually eliminate the eye drawing characteristic of that scratch? Yes. It'll eliminate it in a way that your eyes don't pick up on it anymore. So yeah, if you're curious, somebody throw a link to Dr. Color Chip for us so she can check it out. But it's definitely worth it. Yeah.
The paintless dent repair wizard, and he's got a mobile truck that he can come to your place of work, your home, wherever you are, and fix your dents without needing any body work.
So being mobile, you have to be prepared for anything. Top drawer, these are all different knockdowns you would use.
These are like kind of a punch that you would use to knock down material.
We're gonna take your car apart, any panel tool needed.
Is this a battery-powered hot glue gun?
It is.
That's awesome. All right, so I see you got a bunch more rods. How much?
Now that is the part, unfortunately, that spooks some people who love their cars, but they're not quite sure if they trust another person touching them. Pulling the parts off the car so that you can do the PDR in some areas where you have to get in through like a headliner or through a interior body panel, like you have to remove like something over the hump where the suspension is in the rear or something like that. You can remove interior panels. It gets a little sketchy. You might break some clips and stuff, but if you want to get rid of those dents the right way without using Bondo and just making a different kind of problem down the road, that's the way you got to do it.
How much do these things cost a piece?
To make an average, they're about $100 a piece.
I spent $100 on my whole set.
We'll see how that works out.
Yes, we will. So when you show up to a customer's house and they got a dent, how do you determine how much you're going to charge them to fix it?
Well, if a professional dent guy shows up to do the repair, he'll be using a pricing guide like this. It's based on size, and then if there's any factors, which is on the back.
All right, so what's the damage? What's the total value of all these tools?
Roughly 25 to 30 grand after you have all the tools, the lights, glue pull stuff, tabs, the other tools to do the job properly.
I'm waiting for some smart ass to be like, are you including the van on that price too?
Well, you seem to be prepared. Let's go see how prepared I am. Okay, so I spent about $200 total on 2 tool sets. First, I got these rods, basically $100 here, and then for another $100, I got this dent puller hot glue assortment of tools.
And I just know that this PDR guy is going to be looking at his tool set he just bought the same way that I look at dollar store microfiber towels.
What do you think?
This is a good beginner set, I would say.
Hey!
They feel
Emphasis on the beginner.
like they're pretty good quality.
Now, what about this stuff? Do you think?
Wow, okay, he was way more complimentary than I was expecting there. Huh, okay. So maybe we're talking more like Kirkland quality.
I'm even going to use any of this? Is it good to have?
This is dangerous in my opinion.
Ooh.
Glue pulling, you can pull paint right off of a car. You can make the dent way too high and stretch the metal and not be able to recover from that. I have had customers call me, then they've stretched the dent to where I cannot repair it because they bought something similar to this.
So I guess that's the risk you run. Well, I want to see you fix the small dent on the Miata first, so I can kind of poke and prod, ask you some questions, see what you're doing.
You got
Then
it.
I'll try a small dent on the E36, and then we'll go head to head with some big dents.
Let's go.
We got the car jacked up, you got some room, got heat going on to the dent. Now what?
We'll put up the light,
Look at that
stick the rod
torch.
in there, and we're gonna start working the center of the dent
right.
first. These are all screw-on tips, and then as the dent
do some
starts to
yard
come
thatching.
up and it's closer and closer to being finished, you graduate down small.
Oh, for real. Yeah, Obsessed Garage Videos on PDR was something that should have been the most boring thing ever, but you couldn't look away. Yeah, no, PDR is fascinating. Like, most people never even give it a thought. They don't know that PDR is a thing at all. I mean, people, if you're looking at asking average people, a lot of people don't even know what detailing is. They go, oh, you're a car wash guy, at most. But yeah, PDR is an art form, witchcraft, voodoo, whatever. Yeah, it's interesting to watch.
Smaller tip, eventually
Gotta
to
be patient,
something
though.
super sharp and make it look just like orange peel.
Like, how long do you expect this dent to take you to fix?
An hour or under, we should be done with it.
Timer starts now. These rod tools are made to press on the dent from behind. A simple turn of the handle presses the tip of the tool into the dent, but you need something to lever off of.
So as the dent starts to shrink up, the tip of your tool will go accordingly. See this little pin spot? This tip is too big for that.
How can you tell that it's too
Because I can see the tip of the tool moving in the light.
Okay.
And right when it's in the center of that dent, it's pushing up the sides of it also.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, cool.
The dent started to get mounded up as we were trying to get at the center of the dent. So we just knocked down what we'd done.
Oh, for real. Yeah, Flack. When it comes to like any kind of dent repair, when it like hail and stuff, hail jobs are insane. There's certain states that just have a lot more hail than other places. A lot of the plain states, or in Colorado, places like that. But seriously, if you run a detail shop and you live in one of those places and you want to have like another revenue stream to build into your business, doing dent repair, while it is like a pretty different skill set, if you can manage to do both those things or run teams of people who can do both those things, that's an amazing combo. Like being a full meal deal there. I don't know many places that do it like that though. But yeah, it's there's a lot of business there.
Start the process over. Got the dent down to very little. It's time to get in the center of that with the sharp tip tool.
For real, Alex. And if they're not, it's either because they just choose not to take on as much work, which is fine.
As far back as possible.
There's always going to be people out there who want it.
Of the top part of the fender. And now we're going to tell everyone we're done.
Once they learn that it's a thing.
And we're done.
All right, Jimmy, stop the stopwatch.
1 hour, 37 minutes, and 22 seconds.
Not too bad. So you said about an hour, but we were bugging you and making you talk to camera. So I'd say it'd probably be an hour if you're out in the wild. Well, let's see how you did. Where was it? It was like here, yeah?
Yes.
Well, good work, sir.
Good work.
Yeah,
I can't tell where it is anymore.
Can't tell where it is at all. That's pretty impressive. I don't stand a chance, do I? Find out.
Ooh, right on the edge there.
So the point here is that I can look at my dent while I try to fix it, and I see these lines reflected in the dent. Now where there is dent, the lines reflect all wonky.
Now this is a fun one because for the longest time when I watched PDR guys work with those freaking yellow, like highlighter yellow panels, I had no idea what they were looking at. It was just kind of like, I didn't think to ask the obvious, which is, oh, why are there lines on that board? Oh, it's so you can tell when they're straight or not. Okay, doy. But no, it's one of those things that once you understand it, it's like, of course.
We got to unwarp those lines. At this particular moment, I'm regretting how low the E36 is. I don't have a lot of room to get through here. The wheel like that's probably as good as it's going to get for us, so I'm going to lock it down there, put some heat to this thing, and start pushing some metal. Well, I think it's...
Yeah, Flack, it is interesting. There's not a lot of crossover between the two, I guess you could say, disciplines of, car repair. It's different than, just putting parts in an engine or something, but it's car repair in its own way.
It's been about 10 minutes. I've made 0%
$900 in Milwaukee tools with a duct tape Amazon
any
panel.
dents at all.
Yes.
The hardest part is just...
In a nutshell, actually, I think you just summed up Donut Media's like whole aesthetic right there.
Just like getting the tool on the dent, keeping it there, and actually pushing against it. The whole thing that you got to do. I took the wheel off so I could get a little bit more of my head in here and actually see the backside of the dent. I'm just leveraging off the unibody in here. I think we actually might be able to make some progress now.
Look how grody
dent
those
inside a fender
GoPros
is probably
already
the
are.
easiest dent I could have started with. If this dent was on an A-pillar or a quarter panel or something difficult to get the tool behind, it would be even harder. Sucks. I hate this.
Yeah, we've got a few of those, Alex, for our GoPros as well. They're really nice, like super flat level suction mounts. Sometimes you get the ones that are magnets, but they're great. I don't remember the manufacturer though.
I mean, listen, the dent is way less there, but I don't know if it looks better. It looks like I stabbed it a bunch of times with a screwdriver from the back. Okay, so part of the dent, I think I went a little too far. These are basically little punches with replaceable tips. I'm gonna use them to knock down the high bits. If 100%.
No, for real, Alex. TikTok be like, get a kettle and a toilet plunger. No, seriously, the TikTok hacks I see for some of this stuff. I don't even like go on TikTok hardly ever. But it seems like the few times where I get sent a TikTok and then from that point on I like look at a couple more, it's always some insane shit. Just, oh, yeah, don't waste your money doing that thing that other people spend their money on for some reason. You just go ahead and do this really, really simple, cheap way using things you already have in your house. Life hack. And the next thing you know, your house is on fire, your car has exploded, and you can't find your pets.
Is like this dent never existed. I think we're probably going to be somewhere in the 60 to 70% range.
Let's check it out.
But somehow TikTok and the person who presented it on TikTok are not liable. Because you did it.
Got most of the dent pushed out, I feel like, but you can see a lot of little tool marks.
Oh my
when you're
God,
working a dent like this,
seriously?
you can see those little push marks that are the high spots.
Yeah.
Those have pushed past and bubbled the paint a little. It's not cracked. So to get rid of those,
they're just
knock down
over
the high
here
spots,
smacking
work it up
it.
a little and knock the sides out of it.
Oh
This
wow,
definitely
that is
seems
not
like
good.
something you get better
Yeah,
at.
that's rough. Oh. I mean, to be fair, it kind of looks like that's what he did there.
I think I could realistically spend the rest of the day just on this dent, but I think for the sake of time and our sanity, we should probably move on to our head-to-head portion of this, where we're both going to do a big dent at the same time. You're obviously going to win. It's not a competition like that, but you know, we got some big dents that need fixed. So let's get to it. Okay, Jimmy, start that timer.
All right, we're gonna take the taillight out now. So let's set up our light and go to work.
So they're including the time of removing.
So by tapping the crown that's around the dent, we're gonna relieve some pressure and then we'll start pushing. After looking at this dent, we can tell that this part right here is in
Another reason I love the NA Miata, super easy access to all of the regular parts that you're going to be working with.
an area that does not have access for tools. It is where the outer and inner panels are welded and glued together. So we're gonna work everything that we can get a tool on, try and do a little glue
Not necessarily easy access for PDR though.
pulling in here to see if we can make it better. Let's see if we can relieve some of this pressure.
Jason, a professional, knows every day is different. He's strapped for any
songs.
type of day. He's got the right equipment, and he's got the know-how for any situation.
I remember the first time we saw a PDR guy use what we affectionately called the jerk-off hammer, because what else are you supposed to call that?
So I'm really wondering if I should pull out the old hot glue dent puller and hit it right
Well,
in
that
there,
is a
but
big dent.
I feel like I should. So the transparent glue stick is for Japanese cars which have thin paint, but the yellow glue stick is for European and American cars which have thick paint, but they only came with one color of glue stick. So that's the color we're gonna go with.
Oh boy.
Just glue that right there and yank that sucker out. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get all these dents out
This'll
though.
go
I
well.
don't have the correct attire on. Seems leather pants and high heels are just what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, I guess we're doing it wrong.
If I rip off the paint, you're gonna see me cry.
No, that's true, Alex. I've seen that. The Stroker
If
3000.
I'm being honest, that's what I thought was gonna happen. Well, I hit the paint with some Goo Gone, and the glue seemed to stick a lot better, possibly to my detriment.
Oh no, not Goo Gone.
definitely less dent there, but there's also a lot more glue there. I don't know if this is saving me time. I think this is helping. There's so much hot glue in the area, it's kind of tough to tell at this point.
I don't know about that. Yeah,
Well,
F's in
after
the chat.
hot glue treatment and pulling the dent out with the slide hammer, there's definitely less dent, but it's there's
At
still
what
dented.
cost?
There's still dent to be fixed, and I guess really the hard work comes now. We're gonna pull out the rods now and try to work the rest of this dent out. That said, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do a whole lot about this little area right here where we're right on the lip. I'll give it a shot, but I expect that's not gonna get perfect.
Oof.
Well, so we've got this crease on the body line there, and so it's dented in, and then you can see how badly dented up this is, and I just don't know what to do about that.
Flex Take comes in. I don't remember the name of the announcer guy for those ads, but that's a lot of damage.
Yeah. So it's a give and take. Tap down a little, push a little. But this really is going to be really hard to get out.
Well, I don't think I'm gonna win this one. I've known that for some hours now. But I would like to see how you did on the old Miata. You wanna go take a look?
Yeah, let's take a look.
Wow.
Wow! Well, it looks way better. I knew that was going to be a really tricky area to get into, but I mean, this whole, corner looked terrible. I backed into my roommate's car a while ago.
Phil Swifter!
Well, dang, I mean, it looks like you've got the tools for the job.
he's no
and
Billy Mays, but
because of that and your experience and
right?
skills, you did a lot better job than me. I think I'm going to go ahead and take my L's on this one.
I think you did a great job, though.
Well, I do appreciate that, but I guess that's why you pay a pro. You've got the skills and experience, and you can show up and make it happen without any question, without the sweat pouring out of your own head. Okay, so let's hash this out. First, let's start with cost. He would have charged us about $600 to fix the 2 dents on the Miata, and I spent about $200 on tools. So the cost savings seems pretty good. But the problem is that I can't buy skills and experience. So that brings me to my next point, effort. I was like a blind squirrel over here trying to find a nut, and he obviously knew what he was doing. And on the other side of that coin is time. This could take me literally days and days. And as
Joey, I see you throwing snowflakes up next to Rip Billy Mays. Any particular reason you're doing that? Oh, man. I was so sad to hear he pass, especially he just bumped his head when he was on an airplane. Just like an overhead compartment or something like that, right? Or was it like a piece of luggage fell and hit him? Anyway, yeah, they did find snowflakes in his system, but I mean, there's probably more to the story there. Yeah, no reason at all, Joey, no reason at all.
As those days go on, sure, I'd get better at it. Sure, I'd develop the skills and get a little bit of experience, but it's going to be a long time. It's going to be a
Now, granted, there's Billy Mays, who is the, I guess you could say he's chaotic good. And then there's Vince Offer, the ShamWow guy. Would he be chaotic neutral or chaotic evil? And if he's not one or the other, who would be the third person who fills the chaotic void? Curious.
long, cold winter before I've got the experience and skills of a pro. Okay, now let's talk outcome. I mean, what do you guys think? Did I win? No. I mean, you can still see my dents. The dent on the fender came out like it was never there. My dents did not.
Oh yeah.
I lose.
No, Vince gives off the
Pro
vibe
wins.
that he loves the winter sports.
Check out Donut's new badass We Buy Junk Cars shirt. Get it in this knot.
All right. So we've done another here. Gave it a little thumbs up because you should always support YouTube videos that you enjoy, or at least YouTube videos that you found to be mildly entertaining. Yeah, Vince loves a lot of things, as police reports would show you. What else we got? Just gonna remove that from my list here. Remove that one too. Yes, it shall. All right. Now, speaking of people with less than stellar police records and or just general way people feel about them, didn't the Stofers, weren't they up to some like kind of sussy business or whatever? I don't remember. I'm assuming it's tied to these guys, but I know he's got a lot of videos out there. I just gonna watch a nasty like disaster detail here. But I also was just reminded when talking here, yeah, the Stofers, it was something like child adoption. So I don't remember. There was some weirdness there, right? But it was like one of their other Family Channel things. I don't know. Family Channels are weird too, right? I just always found that stuff to be a little bit off-putting. Mostly because I just find them annoying. But more so than that, I mean, it feels like it can't be healthy for people. Returned his adopted child. Oh, okay. That's, yeah. A poor kid. Jeez. Oh, clicked one day. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So, yeah, I remember there being a story like that about that for sure. Detailer versus detailing business owner. There's a big difference. Oh, clicked one day. Yeah, right? Yeah, people are rightfully mad about that. That's kind of messed up. I mean, unless there's like a really good reason. Like for the safety of the child or something like that, okay, I understand that. As someone who doesn't have kids, I feel like it's not really my place to speak on that front, but just from a practical consideration, I mean, it should always be about like what keeps the kids safe. Seems like it should be that. Yeah, washing cars can be difficult. So what's this, Alex? What's going on here? Oh, yes, it's my favorite. Love it. Where did the soda go? As a classic subreddit. Love it. But yeah, no, that's me going out to detail car while the other guys just sit back and watch. And yep, share a lot in common. This guy likes the color green. I like the color green. He's a little on the heavier side. I'm a little on the heavier side. He doesn't know that you shouldn't walk while the hose is operating and you have a bunch of other supplies in your hands. Yeah, no, done that before too. Very, very similar experiences. So, yeah, no, it's still the best. I absolutely love it. Okay, now, Top Chemicals, every detailer needs. Man, keep going, keep going, keep going. Boy, most overrated and underrated detailing products. That's a clickbait title. Ooh, BMW 850 Ci first watch. Okay, we're gonna watch a Vermil video, but it's on an 850 Ci, and I do love me an 850 Ci. Yeah, let's watch it. Let's just do a little bit of cleaning, fun. See how it goes. Okay, maybe that'll work better. Just adjusting my mic some more so I wasn't picking up the ambient there. Am I not subscribed? I gotta subscribe to Vermil. Guys, one of our grand ambassadors even. Yeah, like, I like BBS LMs. I think they're a cool looking wheel, but for some reason, just not doing it for me here on the 850. I feel like you need a different kind of wheel on there. I think a big problem is just way too many people go with huge ass wheel and then barely any rubber around it. I realize my Jag, I'm kind of stuck that way on some stuff, but I like a little sidewall. That's just me, but I like a little sidewall. Yeah, as soon as those jeans get wet, I can't imagine it's a fun experience. Jeans never feel good if they sit in like a wet bench or something like that, and then you walk around and you're just like, ugh, hate that. Like, for reference, I mean, granted, this is Speed Hunters, so Larry Chen taking photos of anything is going to look great, but I just like the simplicity of, yeah, these 5 spokes, the split 5 spokes. Very classic BMW design, but one of the biggest reasons that I love the 8 Series is because it's a pillarless coupe. Because there's no B-pillar, you get this awesome pass-through through the middle when you roll the windows down, much like you would on a convertible, except this, you got a hardtop around it. Just a really nice experience. And yeah, the 8 Series has always been on my short list of cars that I wanted to own one day, just because I love the way they look. Ski hills and jeans. Oh, that sounds terrible. Absolutely terrible. Damn, boy. It's a thick-ass board! Damn, boy! Now I got that stuck in my head. Thank you. That's right, Mod Hatter. Who doesn't love being comfy? Brooks are what you need. True. Love my Brooks. You can get them with Gore-Tex, which is really cool. I mean, your waterproof vests can definitely do it, but I'm saying, Gore-Tex on the Brooks, you're just as protected. But I also know Vesties have a pretty solid advertising campaign. I've seen them on a number of different YouTube videos. Dry toes matter. There we go. There you go, yeah. Some nice little nature sounds in the background. It's good ambiance. Okay, am I seeing that wrong, or that LPG on the back? I mean, this thing is like powered by like liquid. Oh wait, that I was about to say something incredibly dumb. Liquid propane gas, but it's like, is it a liquid or is it a gas? But no, for some reason I thought it was like an alternative fuel car for some reason. Oh, yeah, I know a lot of people like the Hokas too. Honestly, the pair of glycerins, the Brooks glycerins, the newest version I have that look like they're freaking Xbox branded. They're black with like hyper green accents. They are the most comfortable shoe I have ever worn, bar none. That includes real and fake Yeezys that I have worn before with the, you know, proper boost material and all that stuff. No, these glycerins are the most comfortable shoe I have ever worn. Yeah, Maud, I was feeling pretty dumb as I started to say it out loud. Well, I'm glad you like him, Alex. Now, I can't tell if there's just an alignment issue with that front bumper and the hood, or if he's got the hood popped a little bit. I would expect to see more of a gap around the headlight covers, though, if that was the case. Just weird. Doesn't look quite right. Also, let's try and figure out why the owner hasn't had it washed in 2 years. What's the story there? Ooh, yeah, there we go. Yep. Cleaning out that. Yep. Plantar fasciitis. Oof. Yeah, it's so comfortable. Natural gas converted vehicles in Colorado, not sure about LP. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because I know there's like companies that'll run like fleets and they'll have like natural gas converted like Rams, stuff like that. Like I've seen that before, but I was just very confused why I was seeing it on the back. The color and simple design of it really made me think like they'd done something to the way that you feel this 8 Series. I was like, huh? Too true, Alex. Probably was the case. All right, it's also such a minor thing that like only dumb people would get annoyed by, but I'm annoyed by it. The slats in the grill openings next to each indicator on each side are slightly angled down. So like on the right side one, when you're facing the front of the car, it leans down. So higher on the right, goes down towards the left, and the one on the left, higher on the right, higher on the left, going down towards the right. When you see the upright ones in the kidney grill, it's one thing, but then you see these others and they're not symmetrical. It just looks weird. Such a minor gripe, though. Just the fitment is a little bit funny. I might have run out of blinker fluid. Nice. Angled for speed. Kind of like all the Hondas that have speed holes in the back of them. I cut holes in my bumper for less drag. Never mind the fact that I'm somehow generating lift now. Y'all know the speed holes I'm talking about. These bad boys. Speed holes. And yes, I realize those ones are actually functional. Good question, Joey. Where is the MILF dog? Haven't seen it in this video. Nice little rainbow prism effect happening on the lens there because of overspray. Mythbusters car into a golf ball experiment episode. Oh, Fresso! Does ADA's new car have any speed holes? Yes, so CJ, this is an 850. Assuming it's an 850. Yes, it's an 850. So this one has the V12. The one with the one, I think it was like multiple ECUs or something? Like each bank of cylinders had its own like full computer brain setup that just ran that straight 6 on that side. Even though it's V12, it was really like just having 2 6s. They made a whole thing about it. But yeah, no, it was a little more complex than it needed to be. But it was a flagship car for BMW at the time, so I get it. Yeah, and granted, you could also get a 7 Series with this same V12. And yes, reliability did take a little bit of a hit. When things are good, they're great. You have a smooth running engine, beautiful sound, all that stuff. And then when things start to get a little bit iffy, well, it's big bills. It's really big bills. Granted, the 8 Series, you could also get the 845, which is a 4.5 liter V8, which was actually a pretty reliable engine. Those ones were not bad. The 850s were just kind of the ones that people, I mean, for better or for worse, it's like anything. If you maintain it, chances are you're going to have a much better time. But the problem is, like any vehicle that's at once a luxury item, incredibly expensive, and starts to depreciate because the owners always want the newest, best, most expensive thing, and they keep turning around. It's cheaper and cheaper. Then eventually it's owned by your local drug dealer. Then at some point it finds its way into a buy here, pay here lot. And then, you know, somebody's cousin who doesn't know anything about cars buys it because they think it looks cool. And then they're run out of town, just, you know, running those bills. And also because other people think that they're that drug dealer who owned it before, but they're not anymore. It gets very confusing. But that is basically the life cycle of every single BMW 645 that I have seen. And Jaguar S-Type for some reason. And XF. And Mercedes CL. There's a few. I know the type. I know it when I see it. All right, Mon Hatter, you have yourself a good night. Glad we could help. No, for real, CJ. Same thing you could do with like an RX-8 when the previous owner doesn't know how to take care of a rotary. Pull out the Renesas engine, you pop in something a little, I don't know, torquey, and yeah. Turns into a drift missile. I don't think they should all be like that, though, because I am a lover of the rotary. It's just not for everybody. Can smell the Iron X from here, huh? I like the floor he's got in there. Do that step again and agitate the iron remover personally, says Tony. All right. Got the clay spray. It's good stuff. Like that one. Listen, not to derail things here, but I just want to point out, we have all seen the BMW 645 that looks like this on a buy here, pay here lot. I swear to God, they all end up there. And half the time it's owned by like the owner who thinks it looks cool, but it totally doesn't. It's, yeah, no. I'm going to be harsh with my takes on some cars, but just, I feel like I can smell the cigarette burns in the interior from here. Anyway, moving back. And yes, that is a familiar clay towel because it is that clay towel. No board over the shoulder and no paint depth measurements. Yeah, I know. Scary. Oh, wait. It said to be nice in the chat. Oops. No, see, Tony, I added a caveat rule for the people who couldn't be nice in the chat. I said, if you're not going to be nice, at least be funny. That's what matters. Yeah, so the next time somebody feels like being a dick in the comments, just make sure it's funny. As a general rule in life, when it comes to comedy, comedy is always better when it punches up, or at least kind of laterally. Don't punch down. Don't punch at those who, you know, really can't look after themselves. That's a big thing. Holy shit, Alex, is that real? What the? What? Alex says, I was going to a meet before a cruise with a club, and a dude in the 6 Series rolled up, gets out, and starts spray painting his front lip in the parking lot. Oh, the Bavarian glow. No, it is. Oof, oof, oof. Those, I swear to God, every 645 I've seen has lived the hardest life through no fault of its own. When it was created, they didn't think that was going to happen to their car. But every single one, and I'm going to stand by this, every single one of those 645s, unless it's still with the original owner, has found its way onto some sketchy used car lot at some point. At some point. Tony, I would have to imagine, yes, attached to the car. Good call, Alex. Get that man a Viper. Let's see, I didn't look that closely, but you using an LHR 15 or 21? Nice. There we go. Wow. Big difference. Even the white car, you can definitely tell. The 6 Series was clapped out. Dude's probably financing at 42%. Jesus! The last 6 series I saw, a guy poured like 4 quarts of oil into it while I was filling up with gas. He's like, birds little want to go over 120, got in the left. Holy shit. That is exactly how I picture 645 owners to be. You know what? I will allow, in terms of being mean, I will allow 645 owner slander in my chat. You're allowed now. It's rough out here, man. Like, no car captures the essence of all of that quite like the 645 does, though. Just something about it. Not even the 650, which came later. No, it's the 645s, the earlier ones. Those ones are the ones where somebody who maybe doesn't have a lot of money but wants to think that they look like they have a lot of money, they go out and buy it. It's got the BMW badge, all that stuff. It means something to them. But then it just turns into an absolute nightmare and just gets worse and worse and worse every time there's a new owner who has it but doesn't want to pay to fix it. Car as a teenager, had 16% APR. Had no idea what that meant, but all I knew is I had an F-150. Yeah. I bought my first car outright. It was a Subaru SVX. It's the blue one you see cycle through on my welcome banner. All right, everybody, what was your first car? Now I'm curious. Do share. Doing a little PSS on the tires. Yeah, good stuff. Plastar's awesome. %13% on a used Cobalt. Oh dear. Leather with the upgraded sound system. Hell yeah, Tony. Hell yeah. Mazda GLC. Oh boy. Woo. Bump it. Bump it. Bump it. Yeah, man. At least he got leather. Mazda GLC though. That's fun. Oh my god, Alex, first car, 90 Toyota Tercel. Do you say Tercel or Tercel? We say Tercel. 4-speed hatchback. Yes, dude, yes. So it was it the 2-door or was it a 4-door? If it's the hatchback, I'm pretty sure the 2-doors I've seen were trunk, but hatchbacks are a little harder to come by here in the States. The Tercels I've seen have been like the wagons if you had a hatch. Also, another version of the Tercel that was decidedly a little more sporty looking, the Paseo. Anybody remember the Toyota Paseo? It was basically just a Tercel in prettier body panels. 85 Caprice Classic V8, maybe the best stock stereo I had since. Wow, Scott, nice. 96 Corolla Black with gold emblems. Yes, 5-speed manual. I mean, I bet that thing, CJ, is running still forever. 2-door hatchback. So fun, miss that car. Nice. No, I love hearing people's stories about their first cars. Yeah. Wait, CJ, you ever see my you ever see my car? Let me see if I can pull it up. Definitely not for everybody, but boy, I love that car. Good pictures of it. Just something should have Google image search. Somebody posted a picture of my car on Pinterest. What? Wow. That was my car. That's literally a photo I took. What a great, odd-looking car. Yes. Maximize the image, please. That, I don't know what's going on there. Okay, well, fun. Jeez. Anyway, I did love that thing. They look much better when you lower them and put some wheels on them. I don't like the teal, but God, why so many poor choices with the wheels? I feel like there's just certain wheels that look good, but nobody's picking them in these pictures. That actually reminds me of a comically goofy SVX video I've seen, like a hype video. Yeah, no, the funky windows were totally awesome. Loved them. Let me, you know what? I'm totally going to take us on a detour momentarily here. Somebody. Yeah, here we go. In the voice in this video. I love the EG33. The engine in these cars, they never put that engine in any other car, but it actually gets used a lot in aftermarket conversions for things, and they're so nice. I love that engine. It's basically like Subaru built a Porsche style flat six. Oh, sway for oscillating vents, that is sick. Forcing everybody to watch an SVX video, I know. Oh my god, it's so low, and it's on Tesla wheels. Yeah, so that was the part that sucked, CJ. They only came with an auto because at the time, Subaru did not have any transmission outside of their auto that could handle the torque that the EG33 six-cylinder, the flat six, made. So all got autos, which sucked. However, obviously, STI was playing a role as the years went on because this car was developed in the late 80s and came out in the early 90s. So by the time that, you know, the WRX and the WRX STI's 5 and 6 speed transmissions came into play, they actually did really transform the car. Like, the engine was already fantastic. It just needed a good transmission to wake it up. And when people turbocharge these things, oh man, do I love it. Baby Yoda, of course. Got the wrap on the exhaust. Like, this is very much like a high school kid who just got into college, and this is his car, but he's really done a lot to it anyway. A buddy with a Turbo XT6. Yeah, that's rad. The XTs are another really funky car. They were the predecessor to the SVX, but they're definitely cool in their own way too. No, there's just something really clean about the look of them, even with the funky windows. Like, they look good when you get the right color combo. It's just this body kit arrow work is a little bit overdone to me, but I will say all day long the windows were actually a plus. Like, the windows were actually great. Driving on the freeway with the windows down and the wind wasn't a bother at all. And the engine actually sounds good. But anyway, that's enough of that. So, oh, you just straight pipe it. The EG33 has its own way of sounding, but it sounds different when you're actually driving. It's different than like a BMW inline six,
like a Porsche 911. A unique thing like
completely stock. Previous owner, it was his dream car.
Yeah.
There we go. That's all I want. I just wanted to hear it a little bit. Okay, moving on. The car designed for Japanese taste but sold in the US. Yeah, it was a funky time. Also, definitely a difficult time for Subaru because they were introducing a car that was vastly more expensive than anything else in their lineup. Like, truly super expensive compared to anything else they were offering at the time. you have to figure when Subaru was around in the 90s, the equivalent price for the SVX when it was new was about 50 or 60 grand today. So yeah, I mean, that's not a cheap car. Let's go. Oh yeah, by the way, I have YouTube channels. I'm gonna start uploading the streams to them, breaking them out into clips. So I kind of want you guys to subscribe to the YouTube channels if you haven't done that. Obviously, it's kind of difficult because I have this big old thing here. I don't have an actual URL for it. You just kind of have to search Great Dane Films and hopefully it comes up. You'll know it when you see it. But yeah, I'm working on that. I want to start uploading clips and doing all that. So I'll have this and I'll have a clips channel. I'll start putting them out so that when people miss the streams, there'll still be a YouTube thing that people can refer back to and just to have for funsies. You know, save clips, all that. If you don't like doing clips on Twitch. But anyway, yeah, so I want to build that out. Yeah, no, the 90s sports cars are killed by the dollar-yen prices. That was definitely a factor. Okay, moving back to my playlist. Let's go to library. Here we have detailing. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. I am detailing. Part 2 of something. Wait, what are you sending me, Alex? What's this? Oh my gosh. Yes, let's watch Jamie do his thing. By the way, give the man an upvote.
Today we're checking out the Diamond Body 36 kit from Diamond Protec, now available over at the RAG company. Let's jump right into it.
Did you just upload this? This is like 360p. We're watching it on a potato.
So it comes with some gloves, one pair each of large and extra large. That's pretty cool. Got a nice little microfiber towel, applicator pad. We got the Diamond Body Prep, which is very important. You have a specially formulated body prep to go with their Diamond Body 36 coating. 36 and Diamond Body 36 means you get 36 months of
Man, Jamie, you really rushed this thing out. Like, you couldn't have had this for long before you shot this.
Diamond hard scratch resistance. It offers a slick feeling caramel gloss shine, so that's very interesting. And it goes with the wording of caramel gloss shine. Glad to see on view number 6. Let's see what that is. But this is a company that uses nano diamond technology. The RAG company is dropping a lot of
Whoa, what? Oh my gosh, no. I was writing a comment. I was so happy. I wanted to write a nice comment. What is with this comment system on YouTube? This is weird. Yeah, like all these little spots. What is YouTube doing with their setup? This is stupid. Also, somebody just texted me. Oh, Jamie mentioning me in his story. Very nice. Yeah, so I'm going to type a little comment here. I'm just going to say, boom. Feeling the love. All right, moving on.
We got the Diamond Body Prep, which is very important. You have a specially formulated body prep to go with their Diamond Body 36 coating. 36 and Diamond Body 36 means you get 36 months of hydrophobic protection. It's an effortless single layer.
All right, Joey, see you around.
Diamond
Have a good one.
Scratch resistance. It offers a slick feeling caramel gloss shine, so that's very interesting. And it goes with the wording of caramel gloss shine. Can't wait to see what that is. But this is a company that uses nano diamond technology. The RAG company is dropping a lot of educational videos on this nano diamond technology and how they found this company, NGNT. So stay tuned for more education on what exactly nano.
We've already had a few people from work who just like tried this on a whim. Like they hadn't had a chance to experience it during our testing phase, so they just like got some, took it home with them and used it on their car, and they were blown away. So yeah, for people who weren't sure, it's working on people who don't even necessarily just like live and breathe detailing. The difference is pretty clear.
Diamond coating technology is, but today we're gonna apply it, maybe get some hydrophobic behavior shots, and start putting this nano diamond coating technology to the test. Before applying our Diamond Body 36, we're gonna do some prep work. I'm gonna be using Overt Car Care Supreme polish. We're gonna pair it up with their red pads. We're gonna use the Ryobi cordless polisher. Just give it a quick buzz.
Jamie, we gotta hook you up with like a dead cat or a dead kitten or something. I know that sounds terrible for people who don't understand industry lingo, but like a fuzzy cover for your mic. just protect you from that crazy wind that's howling through your garage.
Still looks really good, as you can see here. Our paint's pretty much flawless, but we got to get the old protection off.
It's a good place to start.
Prep it for our Diamond Body 36, and then we'll hit it with the Diamond Body Prep, and then we'll be ready to go to install our Diamond Body 36 coating. So let's get to it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jamie, that sucks. Oh, you're good, Jamie. You were just excited, that's all. Wanted to get this stuff out there. I don't blame you. I was just hoping there wasn't anything wrong. Yeah, Alex, definitely try it out on the Tiguan. And Jamie, putting it on a Telluride. You know those are like gold at every single freaking Kia Hyundai dealership you go to, right? Like, I feel like there are a whole bunch of jokes online about, oh, what do you want to bet this person's trying to buy a Telluride right now? Everybody wants a freaking Telluride. Like, the ultimate bang for buck mom-mobile kind of thing. But they look pretty dope in this color. I like it. Blacked out badges and stuff. It's like a Korean take on a GMC Yukon. Slightly smaller. 6-cylinder power rather than V8, but still, the look is good. Look is really good. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Seem pretty damn feature rich, yes. Feature rich, reliable, good price point, appropriate size, where they're definitely on the larger side of like the smaller mid-size, you know, type SUVs and crossovers. They have a lot of appeal for a lot of reasons. But I think, yeah, the Telluride and the Palisade, but more so the Telluride, have really done a lot to elevate their position in the market overall. Moss Green Nightfall, yeah. Looks like some AliExpress knockoff Eagles. Oh no. Can't be doing our boy dirty like that. Coming back. Maybe. Looking good though, looking good. Oh no, Jamie, had some company sending you to. I believe it, Jamie. Like, it's okay. I understand the position you find yourself in. It's gonna happen. It just will. People are gonna send you all kinds of crazy emails. Hey, can you review our product, kind of thing? And it just, you pick and choose your battles. And sometimes I see that stuff and I'm just like, we could review it, but you probably won't like what we have to say. But it's funny, sometimes you see products, even when they get bad reviews, they just sell anyway. It really depends on like the category of the product, I think, sometimes. Yeah. For this coating, though, the prep is very important. You want to make sure you have the surface ready to go for this, but what's going on here? Don't mind me, just responding to some other stuff I had here too.
So there you go, there's your first look at Diamond Body 36 from Diamond Protect Swiss Made Company, NGNT. Coatings are the people behind this coating. I will say, I almost got ahead of myself with doing the whole hood and coming back, but we still made it work, still saved it. But any longer, it would have definitely given me problems. Super humid, super hot here. That's all right, we got it. Body spray, Diamond Body Spray was actually really enjoyable to use. One of the better prep sprays I'd say I've used. Diamond Body Prep.
It's actually pretty important because there's a lot out there that people
got a little
don't
ahead of myself, like I said. Tried to do the whole hood on a very hot, humid day here in Louisiana. But I was pushing it to its limits.
Well, and the nice thing is it does hold up even in the limits and stuff. It still performs like it should, which can't say that about every product. But yeah, no, glad you had a good chance with it, Jamie. Yeah, you'll want to get it out there and test the behavior after a few weeks. You know, just see how it goes. But I'm glad you got a chance to try it out early. This is my wife's ride. I only coated the hood, and today I used the rest of the bottle on a Buick Enclave, so one kit will do a whole vehicle. There you go.
And now I know its limits. I'll just stick to doing my half a hood, one panel at a time application. It has a hazing kind of effect when it's ready to be buffed off instead of a sweating or a rainbow action. So very interesting indeed.
Those diamonds
so there you
are
go.
no joke.
Hope you enjoyed our nano diamond coating application video. I'll do a first wash update very soon. So like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Sir. Nice, Jamie. Good work. Hopefully we drove a few more views your way too. Which, by the way, if you're not subscribed to Jamie, he's here in the chat. Don't hurt his feelings. Go subscribe to him too. He's great. All right. Moving along. We've got ourselves, well, we've done a few different things. Why don't we get into some, like, the business side of detailing, some kind of, you know, running a mobile shop, perhaps, something like that. Not a detailing, okay, that's products, but we got beginner supplies, how to job, watching 40 years, oh, that one's going to be rough. We could go the business route, or we could go the absolute disaster detail nightmare scenario type one. That could also be fun. Depends on what you guys are looking for, right? So what would be of interest to you? Do you want to go the super nasty disaster detail, like detail porn, but you just want to watch something nasty and moldy get fixed? Or do we want to learn a bit about the business side of things from some of these different detailing YouTubers? Or do we want to watch this person clean carpets? Oh my god, it's 41 minutes long. What the hell? What's there to see for 41 minutes? That's wow. A mobile car detailing business with $500. How to 15 stages to detailing. Okay. I'm looking for some more because I've got some good ones down here. Well, where'd they go? Lots of Contempo concept. Got A down there. Day in the life of a mobile detailer. Curious what you guys are looking for. If you have a preference. I'm just going to go ahead and pull these off because we already watched these. 22-year-old starts at $50,000. Okay, wow, that seems a bit extra, but sure. Why don't we see what they have to say?
Do you guys want to know how much a mobile car detailing business makes? It'll surprise you, so stick around and find out.
Wow, the way he delivered that line made it seem like he'd probably been trying to get that right for the last hour and he finally got it, but all the light had left his eyes and he was feeling very, very depressed and sad. I just something, or he's just a chill guy. I don't know, but that I felt a overwhelming sadness coming through as he said that for some weird reason. Maybe I'm just reading too far into it. Of course, Jamie,
Today
we want to
have Alan
support
from Go Detail,
our
who
buds.
scaled his business from 0 to 11 employees in just 6 months. He started his business as a side hustle and scaled it to, well, some incredible numbers that you guys will
Wow, guys, look up above him. He's got the hex lights too. Now we know it's official.
find out later in this video.
It's the bread and butter of our business.
From this corner all the way to that one, we'd like to know all the details.
This is a must-have tool, I would say. It exploded the business.
Holy
So
sea
tell us a
monster.
little bit about yourself, your business, and when you started Go Detail.
Sure, so I started Go Detail straight out of high school. I was 18 years old.
Wow.
And I was looking for some summer job that, you know, required me to be my own boss because I didn't like working for anybody else.
Interesting. Did you learn
That's
that
fair.
in
I
high
think
school?
a lot of guys feel that way,
I
getting
kind of
into
learned that from
detailing.
my dad. You know, he's always been his own boss, so I wanted to kind of follow that same trajectory.
Nice. Have
Yeah.
you cleaned any cars before you were 18? I mean, were you an expert? Did you know what you were doing?
No, so I
Oh,
started
no,
just
Alex.
by watching YouTube videos, and it kind of went from there, just watching a bunch of tutorials, learning how to.
Okay, now that's something interesting. I want to know the pipeline that got you guys into detailing. Because if you're watching right now, you're obviously into detailing on some level. What got you into it, though? Was it somebody you knew? Like a family member, a friend, or a parent? Or somebody that you maybe worked with who expressed an interest? Or was it a YouTube video you just stumbled across one day, like, oh, this person's cleaning a car? Or was it something that just happened IRL, out in the real world? You just ran across this scenario where like, oh, what are they doing over there? Oh, they're cleaning that car. Oh, that's a lot of interesting equipment. Huh. And then you just thought, oh, I guess that's a business. I guess that's the thing people do. And then you research it a little bit. Like, what got you into it? Granted, some of you are going to be home hobbyists, so it's not like you were planning to start a business with it, but I feel like there's a lot of people who start as a home hobbyist and then they kind of like dip their toe in the side hustle water and they're like, maybe, but I'm not like a full-on crazy entrepreneurial person, so I just want to do like a little family and friends kind of sales. Where do you fall in that spectrum? I'm curious, to those of you who are watching right now, how would you categorize yourself?
Clean exteriors, cleaning interiors, and it kind of just took off this past year when I formally launched the business.
What's the plan for the day? Talk to us a little bit about that. What are we doing?
Sure, so we're going to hit a few locations. First one's going to be at a mobile detail, and the second one's going to be at a dealership.
Nice, okay.
So we're going to just load up the car
Gotta
with
put
a
some
few
stuff
things.
in? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, while we do that, Alan, tell us, is there anything you wish you'd known when you started Go Detail? And
yeah.
What was that could have helped scale your business faster?
So a lot of things. One of them would definitely be marketing. So learning, how to market my product, my services, and get more clients in the door initially, because that was the biggest hurdle.
So knowing that now, what would you do different at 18 or when you really started scaling?
I would just start utilizing more social media, to be honest with you. Facebook, even TikTok is really popular these days.
Wow, okay.
YouTube, all the social platforms you could think of.
Not wrong.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, and we'll talk about specifics of marketing later in this video as well, so stay tuned.
And this video looks to be fairly
Alan, talk to
thorough.
us a little bit about what you did to scale your business.
The biggest thing for me was definitely reviews. So whether that's Yelp
Interesting.
reviews or Google reviews, those kind of give you the initial credibility you need for people to pick up the phone and start calling you.
Okay.
Because if you don't have those initially, no one's going to trust you as a business owner.
True.
So before that, you obviously didn't do it, and then you started focusing on reviews.
Yeah.
What did that do to the business?
It exploded the business, yeah. So I was getting, maybe 1 or 2 calls a day before the reviews, just through word of mouth. And then after that, I was getting closer to 15, 20 calls a day, which really picked up business. And at that point, I had to hire more help.
Would that be the second thing, basically, once you can hire?
Once you can hire, I would definitely hire your first employee as soon as you can.
Gotcha.
Because that'll kind of pull you away into a more managerial position where you're not detailing all the time. You could focus on the bigger picture and, just focus on scaling the business, which is where you want to be.
All right, you guys, we're going to go to a mobile detail and show you exactly what happens on the scene. So let's hop in, and I believe it's just a couple minutes away.
Yeah, get that Sienna out there.
Alan, tell us where we're at.
Sure. So we are at a mobile detailing client's house. This is part of our mobile service where we come to you and detail your car at your house, so you don't have to really, go into a shop.
Honestly, those Siennas in particular, super reliable drivetrain and everything. If you're just looking for a vehicle to get into mobile detailing with, he made a really good choice there because you can find them for fairly cheap. Specifically that generation. Other than the fact that they're a little ugly, I couldn't exactly tell you why, but
Which is typical, and wait 3 hours, 4 hours for your car to get detailed.
Nice.
That's why people like our service. So today we're going to be detailing this Volvo XT60, and this is kind of the setup that we come with every
he liked it so much he bought another Sienna of the exact same generation.
day. We've got all our
I only draw attention to this because Nick, our fabulous super producer back at TRC during my day job, he also has a Sienna among other things. But in the case of a Sienna, he actually put like I don't know if they're Mazda RX-8 or Nissan 350Z wheels, but they're just like a really clean, simple spoke design, and they made the whole car look way cooler.
products lined up, our canopy in case it starts raining. We got our step ladder, all the products and tools you
Or in
could
case
think
the
of
sun
for
starts
detail.
shining too much.
Gotcha. Okay. But how much did it cost for you to get going with Go Detail? What was the initial budget, and how did you spend it?
Sure. So I started out personally with $500, which, isn't a lot, honestly, for
You're right
detailing
about that,
products,
Dane's
detailing
deflated pool.
equipment. That went towards a nice vacuum, a pressure washer, and just a few chemicals and tools to get started.
And then how long, I'm guessing, did it take you to recoup your initial $500 investment?
It took me about 2 details when I first started out, so 1 day's of work.
Well, I know you've got to do a bunch of stuff here, so we don't want to keep you from your job. On that note, by the way, you guys, Alan off camera shared with me something incredible that generates at least 3 new
thanks so
customers
much,
for him.
Alex.
Stay tuned. Later in the video, he'll share what that is and how you can grow your business. Keeping your money lying around can deflate its...
See, Alex, you fell prey to my sneaky ulterior motive, which is, hey, if we tell stories like we're just regular guys and we do detailing adjacent things and fun and interesting, adventures and whatnot that tie back into that, even though we're selling products, it's something people are going to want to actually invest a little more effort into. We give them a reason to keep coming back. So I'm glad, even though it sounds like super... whatever, I don't know, it seems manipulative, but the reality is, like, yes, that was definitely a goal, specifically on my part when trying to develop the podcast stuff. Was I felt like something like what you're experiencing and experience that brought you to us is exactly what I was hoping to achieve out there. Does it work on everybody? Absolutely not. But there are definitely people who are more inclined to listen and want to support people that they feel familiar with, and I think that goes a long way. So to me, those are the kind of people that I want to support us, vice versa. So yeah, I'd say it worked just fine.
value, and you may end up with less money than you had yesterday without even knowing about it. When I thought about it, I was overwhelmed. I realized I'm not investing my money properly.
That's cool,
Also, the
Scott.
idea of investing in stocks and EFTs was very overwhelming.
As long as I can remember, I helped my dad wash and wax a family cars. I got more serious about detailing 7 or 8 years ago. I have aspirations of detailing being my primary income source. No, that's really cool. So how close would you say you are to your goal of detailing being your primary income source versus whatever your day job is? I mean, I don't know how closely tied the two are, or if they're just like in completely different orbits. Yeah, that's interesting though. So maybe there's something that needs to get you over the hurdle. Alex, oh, how far you've come from the first Zoom H4n cardboard box and Eagles to a beautiful studio with inside jokes and innuendos. Yes, that's us.
Overwhelming, but that's when I found Stash. Check this out. Quick, easy app that gives you access to more than 3,000 EFTs and stocks. $1. It's by using a... So let's talk about...
And actually, like, for what it's worth, this presentation actually seems pretty solid and easy to follow. Like, their editing is clean and simple, and it's not overdone. The audio is nice and clear. Like, props to these guys. I mean, granted, they got 500,000+ subscribers, so they're clearly doing something right, but I don't know anything about this Upflip channel, so I just found this particular video. Thought it'd be interesting. Let's see. We've also got Jamie the Cleaner. I remember trying one last Walmart product, the Black Magic Tire Shine, and after that, I knew out there somewhere had to be better stuff. So down the rabbit hole I went. Yes, rabbit hole is a dangerous, dangerous place. Yeah, no, that's great. I love hearing your guys' stories. It's fun to see. I used to pour dish soap right in the garden hose when I was like 12 to my mom's ride. I was walking on foam can, or I was waiting on foam cannons for a minute. Yeah, I see that. Now that's interesting, Alex. So seeing brushes at car washes didn't seem right when I got a car I cared about. Found some videos on YouTube, ordered some stuff, and watched an Adams DVD they used to give out. Snowballed from there. Yes, those Adams DVDs. I remember those.
What you made during your first
So stash
year.
that ad segue in the
so
trash.
When I was
Yep.
doing it, part-time, just as a college,
That's his ad,
summer
not
job.
my ad.
Before I dropped out, anywhere
If
between.
you want to watch
30
the
to
ad, you can watch the
40,000.
video yourself.
Wow.
Just one summer, just working alone. And
That's pretty
then-
good as a side hustle.
Yeah, I really didn't want to work
Wait,
for
let's hear what he
anybody
says one more
else.
time.
By using a
Here, Alan.
Yeah, so when I was doing it, part-time, just as a college, summer job, before I dropped out, anywhere between 30 to 40,000.
Wow.
Just one summer, just working alone.
Dude.
That's pretty good as a side hustle.
Pretty good. That's freaking amazing. Okay. I have to imagine, like, I don't see it. I'm just going based on the geography, maybe. Where Go Detail is based. He's got to be in a pretty high density area. Granted, not all of us are, but take a quick peek. Curious. My curiosity is piqued. Nice website. Oh, Car Detailing Portland. Now, is this Portland, Maine or Portland, Oregon? The 503 number, isn't that Oregon? Portland, Oregon. 221. Okay. Well, good for them. Check pricing, what happens? Oh, go through here. Okay, it's a whole thing. Interesting. They go through something called House Call Pro. All right, not to go too far down the rabbit hole. I was just curious, so I wanted to look. Yeah, so Portland, Oregon. Cool. Yeah, so that's pretty freaking amazing to be able to say you did that in a summer. Jeez.
Yeah, I really didn't want to work for anybody else. I got the idea to, work for
I mean, he must have been doing non-stop. You have to imagine. This is like going way beyond just mowing lawns or something.
myself and try to promote the business and kind of keep it alive while I was trying to pursue my college degree.
Right.
Hey, Flack, that's good to see too. Got a new car, wanted to learn how to take care of it. Ended up on Reddit with chemical guys at first, then TRC and the Obsessed Garage Facebook group as I leveled up. That's nice. Nice. I'm glad to see that. Yeah, there's usually, Flack, I find that there's oftentimes a progression involved. People don't just immediately arrive at the point. There's some kind of journey. So I like seeing the path that people took to get there. That's of more interest to me. Now, granted, obviously the most interest to me is how you wound up in the place that you are now, because, hey, you're here, right? But obviously, steps along the way led you here. So I'm always curious to see how that pans out.
Your setup here, because it's super clean, well organized, from this corner all the way to that one. We'd like to know all the details. So
Sure,
Okay,
yeah. So
Scott, I
first
see what
things
you're
first,
saying.
you need a nice pressure washer.
Okay.
You could get started with something a little cheaper than
Alex, that's so true. You can't pump your own gas, but you can spray wheel acid on grass. Okay. Wow.
this. This is like a high-end electric pressure washer. You could get away with spending $100 on one,
Okay.
and it'll do you fine for about 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got your retractable hose. This is super handy.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so
Super flexible.
this is about 100 feet. It always does the job. I've never had issues with it.
Okay.
We've got a blower.
That's an interesting
just
one.
for
I don't
drying
see
off
brought
the
up very
car.
often.
Okay.
The hose.
This is probably one of the essentials as well. You need a nice vacuum that's very portable. So I use this rigid one. You want to get yourself a step ladder for the bigger cars that you have to climb on top of, the SUVs, trucks. So invest in a nice ladder
That's
that
pretty
you're
cool.
not going
And
to
by
fall
what,
off.
flip hook or hook? I've never seen
Yeah,
that.
so
Okay.
these are
I mean, it kind of sounds like we need to talk to this guy, a day job, because he's in Portland, Oregon. He's not that far away.
Gorilla ladders, and I'll link all the products I use, all the tools I use at the end of the video. So
Nice.
if that's helpful to the
Oh,
viewers,
no,
I'd love
gee.
to offer that.
That's cool. You got a lot of
High-end
ton of
pressure
products
washer,
here
cries
as
and
well.
crayons,
Is
the
there a
GPM
specific
tiers.
order to how
Yes.
you've arranged this, or not really?
So
Not really. I
much
just
donor.
try to make it look nice. We've got our shine sprays or zeniths, but it's really important to, you know, be.
Yeah, I find that interesting too. I see how many aerosols he's got there, and that is interesting. Now, granted, look at all like the citrus scent stuff up there. I don't know if you've ever sprayed an orange like aerosol air freshener spray onto a piece of plastic before, but when I used to work at Home Depot, commentary being what it is, I don't know if it was cheapness or if it was just convenient, whatever it was. Instead of just ordering like Goo Gone or Liftoff, Mossenbacher's Liftoff, anything like that to remove stickers from the beams, you know, in all the Home Depot stores, they wouldn't give us, at least when I was there, they wouldn't give us the you know, typical adhesive remover type products you'd think they give us. No. Instead, it was incredibly cheap. They gave us the most like designed by an NPC in a Grand Theft Auto game air freshener spray bottles that were just orange scent. And it was just like a super plain white bottle, and you'd spray it because citrus scent, orange scent, whatever. You'd spray it onto the stickers and the beams where the adhesive was left over, and that shit, holy hell, it would melt plastics. It would do all kinds of insane stuff. When combined with your scraper blade, you would end up taking out pretty much everything, including the orange paint on the beams, because even though they were painted fairly strongly, that orange air freshener was just ready to rip that shit right off. I mean, it was absolutely nuts. Zep orange degreaser, melt them stickers. Yeah, but that's the funny thing was this wasn't even a degreaser. They literally were just giving us the cheapest like air freshener spray that they could find, that they also knew happened to be insane as soon as you put it on plastic. Like I tried working on, they called it POP, basically these plastic like card channels for like slipping in different types of, you know, promotional materials for stuff. Say like there's an important info card that you have for like a rigid shop vac, and they have an info card that slides in there. Well, they have these plastic C channels that go around them. You'd spray that with the orange spray, or you maybe just accidentally overspray while you're working on a beam, and it just a little gets on there. That plastic, the C channel, would start to melt. You'd touch it, it would just turn to goo. It was so bad. But yeah, no, it was insane how powerful that stuff was, considering it looked totally innocent and benign from the outside.
Be able to source your products locally,
right,
and in bulk, because that's how you save a lot of money and make those margins bigger.
What is your overhead today? Can you break that down for us?
Sure. So our overhead.
Tony, that's exactly right. Orange scent. In Mother Russia, we use this for toilet and car brakes.
Per month is roughly $25,000.
Okay.
So we're making on a good month like $60,000. On a slower month, we're making closer to $40,000.
Wow.
But you know, that changes with the seasons, of course. Less people get their cars detailed in the winter compared to spring and summer.
Right. How's the 25 breaking down, though? Can you break that down for us?
Yeah, so what goes into that? It's mostly labor, taxes, of course. Taxes every month are about, I would say, anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 just in taxes.
L&I and all that?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So those kinds of taxes, like wages, salaries, those take up the biggest amounts of tax.
What are you spending on, like chemicals and, you know, equipment per month as well?
So chemicals and equipment, about $5,000 per month, and then the rest just marketing and advertising.
Okay, guys, I found it. I was looking. This is like an updated bottle. This looks nicer than what I remember when we had them, but it's still pretty plain looking. But I swear this was the stuff. This one right. It like melted and ripped off everything. Did a lot more than just make things smell orangey. And when it got on your skin, it didn't feel like it was like burning you or anything. It didn't even make you feel itchy. It just felt oily, like very oily. But as soon as it touched anything remotely like petroleum based, like plastics or so, I bet even on a microfiber towel, if you're using a microfiber towel, because in our case, we were using paper towels for a lot of this stuff. Didn't really affect the paper towels, it just made them soggy. If it got onto a microfiber towel, I bet it would start to melt the fibers a little bit, or at least, you know, kind of just mush them together. So that'd be interesting. Anyway, back to the video.
Talk to us briefly about some of the mistakes you may have made when you
Non-aerosol,
just started
just
build detail.
gas.
And what were they? What would be your tip?
So a big mistake I made was probably buying the wrong products, first of all. So, you know, I got the wrong polisher, I got the wrong vacuum. They ended up failing on me later. I ended up having to buy the one that I should have bought the first time. And that kind of, you know, cost me some money.
Ale as old as
Right, so for those watching right now and saying, I wonder what he means and how would I avoid that mistake? Where would you go to as someone who's starting out to know exactly the product to buy? Like what resource?
So YouTube was a big one for me.
Again, okay.
At first I tried, you know, just starting on my own, not watching a lot of videos.
Eliminates doors
not
naturally.
watching a lot of product tutorials, reviews. But when I, you know, actually spent the time, invested in myself, invested in my knowledge of the detailing business, that's when I saw the most results.
Smart man right there.
Share with us your packages that you have set up. How did you come up with that? I mean, over time, did you figure out that you could make more by offering this and that? Like, for example, with what you're doing for this client, what are they going to be paying you for, and how's that broken down?
Yeah, so this client's just paying for a full detail, so it's inside-out detail. Takes about...
Ah, the dreaded full detail. Different things, it can mean, well, different people, it can mean different things. What does it mean to you?
3 hours to complete, and they are paying $297.
Okay.
So we kind of undercut our market, like compared to other mobile detailers.
They're a little
which
under
charge
$100 an
10%
hour.
more, and that's just a way for us, you know, get the higher hand.
Yep.
And be able to deliver the same service, grab a bigger audience.
What if I brought you a huge SUV? Because this one seems like a mid-sized SUV. Is it the same rate, or how do you upcharge on that?
Yeah, so we do have different packages, prices, and I will link that like in the description below.
Yeah, Tony, I think
just
that's
to
fair.
show, you know, what ballpark figures are. People
And
kind of
maybe
go off
he will.
those. If they want to set up their own detailing business, it'll definitely be a helpful place to start.
Okay, awesome.
Like I know in Levi's shop, when like Matt or Levi or anybody was working on stuff, they would literally like just clean out all the pockets in the car. They'd put them into like Ziploc bags and stuff for the client, but they would clear out everything so that they could make sure they didn't miss any spots. Just seems like a good, you know, common sense thing to do.
That's a good tip. And you guys, I haven't mentioned it earlier, but do check out our podcast. We talk to people like Alan. We ask more specific questions that we don't get a chance to do here. So check it out, upflip.com/podcast.
Very smooth with the plugs, these
more
guys.
stuff through this corner as well.
This is kind of our charging station. You know, we got these portable batteries we use.
Right.
I really like DeWalt.
US General, what brand is that? What store sells that brand? I feel like I've seen it before, but I can't remember where. It feels like a Harbor Freight thing, but it's not Pittsburgh, so I don't know where this would have come from.
There's also Milwaukee, Makita. There's cheaper ones you could also invest in.
What about DeWalt that you like? Just because you mentioned that, so I'm curious why.
Yeah, so they just don't break down.
Okay.
That's my favorite thing about them. They're rugged, they last a long time, and I've never had an issue with DeWalt.
That's it. That's a tip for you guys from tested and proven skills and experience. Okay.
So this shop is mostly used for ceramic coatings. As you can see, these lights up here, they're going to show all the swirls in a car. Easy to find them, easy to correct.
Are these just basic LED lights or anything special about them?
So these are specifically for car garages that specialize in, you know, painting cars, polishing.
I was waiting for him to ask him, and I was very curious to see how he was going to answer.
Cars. You could pick one of these up on Amazon. There's cheaper options too. I just like to buy, you know, the high-end stuff because I can, but back when I was starting out, you know, you could get away with $500 to start out the business.
So why did you decide to do mobile detailing? I mean, what are the advantages versus setting up a shop?
First of all, you know, there's no overhead. With getting a shop, you could be expecting somewhere between $3,000 to $5,000 of rent each month.
That's pretty steep,
And,
yeah.
Yeah, doing mobile really, you know, helps cut that.
And I imagine in the Portland area, yeah, that's not going to be a cheap proposition. You'd really have to have a strong sense of the kind of workflow you could get out of it.
Cost. Another big thing is people, you know, like having somebody come to their house, not having to wait somewhere for 3-4 hours. That's a big one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then you mentioned profit margins. So it sounds like the profit margins for mobile detailing is more.
Yeah, I would say it's about 50%, which is really
Right.
high in the industry. Most, shops are working with anywhere between 20 and 30%.
But you have that shop that we showed earlier.
Yeah.
What happens in there besides Ceramic Pro? I mean, you still bring customers there, don't you?
So he does Ceramic Pro. Okay.
So that's kind of reserved for the customers that don't have access to water and electricity.
Okay.
So, let's say someone's living at an apartment complex and their, landlord or the company, the complex doesn't have access to water and electricity. So we actually,
That's right, Flack. I mean, yeah, no, it's easy to sit here and make little pot shots and stuff, but the guy's got to hustle. He found a way to make it work for him, and if the basic math they're laying out there is true, then they're doing amazing for their setup. But it seems like they found a good niche for themselves, and the products they have that are working for him. Yeah, no, he's not hurting, so he found something that works for him. And it is easy, like when you're more of a home hobbyist style, detailer, to go after the higher end stuff. It's something where you go, well, of course I'm gonna have that nicer thing, but I totally get where the nickel and diming kind of mindset comes from when it comes time to actually spend money on your own business that you're going to be going out there and having to buy products for regularly to run. However, there's definitely a difference between products that are cheap that you have to replace and refill constantly versus maybe spending a little bit more on a given product, say like towels, but they're such a better quality that you don't have to constantly go and replace the ones that you just got, because guess what? They actually held up to the last few washes you did. Novel concept, but
When one of those customers calls, I just tell them we have a location that they could come to that's not too far out of their way.
So I want to touch on equipment. I know we asked that a little bit earlier, but I see some new tools here, like this piece right there. Talk to us about some of this stuff here and what it costs.
We're
and
going
why
to talk
you went
about
with
drill
what you went.
brushes and extractors.
Sure. So this is our blower. It's used for expediting the drying process. This is a must-have tool, I would say. This is an extractor. You don't have to start out with this, but it is really helpful for getting like stains out of the seats, upholstery,
Gotcha, okay.
stuff like that. And then this is a drill brush that we use for cleaning these floor mats.
Oh, wow.
Really
They make a mess while you
speeds
do
up
it.
the process. That's insane,
Not that that's
man.
really something you can avoid.
Hey, surely beats the physical labor with your hand. I mean,
Yeah, I like to use tools to my advantage just so we could speed up the detail and get on to the next job.
That's awesome.
Because at the end of the day, it's a cliche. Time is money.
What would this little thing cost? Are we talking?
So you can get a set of these drill brushes in all different sizes for about $20. And I would definitely invest in one of these when you're starting out because it'll save you so much time.
Got it. Okay.
But I cannot stress enough, be careful. Please be careful what you use drill brushes on. On those floor mats, the rubberized, weatherproof type stuff, okay, totally fine. But when you start getting into more carpeted areas, trying to break stuff out, you got cloth seats, those kinds of things, they'll work on certain ones, but you got to be careful. There's just so many opportunities for people to damage. It's kind of like polishing or compounding paint. It's only so much clear, but in this case, you're wearing down on like fabrics and stuff like that. Yeah, they can only take so much abuse before something finally gets.
Anything else you want to point out as far as equipment or stuff that you use, tips, tricks?
I would invest in a nice foam cannon. So this is, a higher end one. This is an Adams Polishes foam cannon.
Okay.
But you could get cheaper ones for like $20 starting out. And this really helps with like coating the car with soap, kind of like we did earlier. And it really expedites, the washing process.
I think he meant expedites.
So what's your role in the business today? Talk to us about your regular day and what you do and how you spend the time.
Sure. So I just, oversee jobs, make sure everything goes smooth. I answer all the phone calls, set up the appointments, make sure everyone's happy. That's a big day-to-day job. and then focus on marketing, because if there's no clients, there wouldn't be a business.
Right.
Like regularly posting to
Alex.
social media, like I said, you know, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, we just got into.
In terms of social media, Alan, what's giving you the best return or response with new customers?
Probably
Which
TikTok.
platform?
Although he might say Facebook, or he might say something along the lines of improving your SEO so that you appear higher in Google search results, which would be another good answer. Although saying do better isn't really an answer, so there's definitely some approaches to that you can use. But yeah, getting the right keywords out there that target your business to appear before someone else's when you're all kind of fighting over the same piece of the pie, that is the detailing keywords.
I don't know if you consider Google social media, but
I swear to God, I haven't watched this video. I just wanted to see what he said, but there, okay. Yep. Feel vindicated.
Google My Business is a big tool we use.
See, guys,
it's sort of
I'm not
like
a total
the Yelp of
dum-dum.
Google, but it's a place where people can leave their reviews. You could post updates on there. You know, we're having this special this month, this special this month, summer special, Black Friday special. It's a good place to post all
Is
that.
that something you have to get screened for or apply for, or what can you share on that?
Yeah, anyone could start a Google My Business. If you want to start your own detailing business, it's the first thing I would recommend anyone do, because we are just getting so many clients from the Google My Business compared
No
to
joke,
other
it
platforms.
Are you
a lot.
spending? Are you spending on Google My Business as well? Is there a budget for that?
Google My Business is completely free.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's where I would recommend anyone get started out.
That's how I know this guy's legit. No, that's very smart. And 22-year-old, and this guy's going places.
To wrap up the
That's
shop
right, Alex.
tour, per
SEO
se,
is
you've got some
king.
stuff behind you. Why don't you tell our viewers what you've got there?
Sure. So this is probably the most essential product we use. These are just microfiber towels. I
Wrong
picked these up
towels.
At Costco. You can get them at Walmart,
Just
Sam's
saying.
Club. They're high
Butt
quality
towels.
microfiber towels. We use them every day for detailing cars. They're machine.
Now I say wrong, but it's kind of in jest. Like, if he's found that works for him, fine. That's kind of like, I would draw the line at like, okay, like when he gets to his coding customers and stuff, I would hope he's using something a little more substantial. I didn't say that, Flack, but you're probably not far off. I think in this case, they're probably like Sam's Club ones, or did he say Walmart or Costco?
So this is probably the most essential product we use. These are just microfiber
I feel like they discussed this beforehand and they're deliberately trying not to show the labels.
towels. I picked these up at Costco. You can get them at Walmart.
Okay, I've never seen blue ones at Costco. I just know the yellow ones that everybody knows, which are amongst the big box store towels. Those are the better ones. Like the ones you get at Walmart, there's some serious trash there. But the Euro-made ones over at Costco, those are actually not terrible. Are they the best? Absolutely not. But for a all-purpose Terry 80-20 blend, they do the job. They're able to do pretty much anything. Will it be more difficult to work with them than something that's actually made for a particular task? Sure. Yeah, it might be more of a pain in the ass to use, but people use them because they're cheap. So it just depends on what your time's worth and how you're able to work around it. If you're fighting your own tools to get the job done, at a certain point, maybe you should consider finding ways to ease the process. That's where we come in.
Walmart, Sam's Club. They're high quality microfiber towels. We use them every day for detailing cars. They're machine washable and they'll last as long as you will make them last.
No, Alex, is he? You're shitting me. No. Is he? I don't know. Is he? Rolled my eyes at this guy a few times now, but he's actually giving decently good advice, especially for someone just starting out. That's right, Tony. Like, I'm not here to make fun of this. Yeah, I can kind of like chuckle at some of the things because I'm like, okay, I learned. But then again, I'm not the 22-year-old running a $50,000 a month mobile detailing business. So he's clearly doing something right. Props to him. He's doing a very good job at this. Assuming all that stuff's true, he's doing great. But yeah, no. Alex, you had me freaked out there. Just because of the proximity, I was just like, what? That would be hilarious, though. That would be hilarious. Okay, moving on. I am interested, though. I like this format. I like the day in the life thing. So far, it hasn't lost me yet. So there have been a few points where you're kind of like, okay, but overall, he's giving very good advice.
Gotcha. I was going to say, do you go through a lot of them just because they get wasted a lot, or what's the deal?
So
because you got a ton of them.
Yeah. So this is kind of just the stock for all 11 employees. But typically we just machine wash them. They're ready to go again, the following week.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Alan, out of all this cool stuff, products, these towels, etc., what would you say are like the
Good
number
call,
one
Alex.
or two,
Good
three
joke.
things that are crucial for this business?
Yeah. So starting out, you definitely need to invest in a vacuum.
Okay.
And a pressure washer. I'd say those two are your like base products or base tools that you want to use.
And then in terms of products, just a fun question, like what would be the first product that you'd get after a vacuum, after the pressure washer? Like,
Yeah.
would it be a wax? Would it be soap?
Right. So starting out, I'd say you want to focus on just cleaning the cars because the more advanced stuff will come later.
Got
you
it.
want to get good at the basics. So I would invest in an all-purpose cleaner and some kind of window cleaner.
Okay.
Yeah.
I I didn't hear any soap in there because all-purpose cleaner, window cleaner, fine. Or you could just have O&R for all your regular washing and the window, and then have a separate APC for the tougher stuff. Thought.
Great tip.
I know, Flack. That's what I was kind of getting
Alan,
at.
so
I was like,
let's
hold on.
talk about how you train
Implying
your
you wash the
employees,
car
'cause
with
you
APC.
hire so
I don't know
quickly in
about
such a
that.
short period of time, right?
Yeah.
So what's your process for making sure your quality's still there, quality control, et cetera?
Just foam APC. I'm sure it's safe.
So a big part of it is setting the expectations from the get-go, just making sure they're going to do what they're told, they're going to do it the right way, and they're not going to cut corners. So the training process is pretty vigorous. I would usually accompany them for a whole month, or I'd have one of the managers accompany them for a whole month to just make sure they know what they're doing before they're, allowed to go out on their own, detail a car all by themselves.
So we're going to go and show our audience your biggest client, right? And how he won them over by setting up.
Don't feel bad. I think we've all foam power cleaned or something along those lines at least once. Not good to get on your skin. I wouldn't recommend it.
His crew. So let's go check it out, and we'll give you guys an inside look. Tell us where we are.
All right, here we are. We're at one of our dealership clients' locations. So we've got this first bay all to ourselves.
Nice.
It's kind of an assembly line process, and we start here and the...
Alex, that sounds like a nightmare. The local dealer just sprays APC, rinses it off, and then dries. God. I mean, you have to... At least use like active foam or super foam or something along those lines where it's like, okay, yes, it's a very aggressive soap that has some, it's a little further down one side of the pH scale because it's actually doing something, but it's still a soap. So you rinse it off when you're done. APC, it's more dedicated. It's a little bit different. You use APC. Yes, you can rinse down a whole car with APC if you're really trying to remove horrible stuff on top. But then if you have two brain cells to rub together, usually for a car of a person you care about, you would go back and then wash with soap or O&R or some other rinseless washer, something along those lines, something that would at least take care of the middle procedure there. Because you start with your, one, and then you got the other, and then you're done. But don't just skip steps. No, terrible.
Cars come out all the way at the other end.
Wow, and this is one of your biggest clients that will remain unnamed.
Unnamed, yes.
But how many
Yeah,
cars
Flack, I
go
think
through
you're okay.
here through your company, of course?
Sure. So on a good day, we go through about 10 cars
Here.
to 15 cars.
Okay.
A slower day is like under 10 cars, but we're usually at the 15 car per day mark.
I had to see that
As of
kid
right
again
now.
over
Is it
the
a full
window.
detail on all these vehicles? Just
Yes.
one. Okay.
A slower day is like under 10 cars, but we're usually at the 15 car
Okay, I thought it kind of looked like Whistling Diesel for a second there.
per day mark as of right now.
Is it a full detail on all these vehicles? Just
Yes.
one, like you said, assembly line, same thing for everything?
Yep. So we do the exterior interior, hit the wheels. It is a lot faster though compared to our mobile details where we spend like 3 hours on a car. Here we would spend roughly 40-45 minutes per car.
Are you able to share what the company or the client is paying per vehicle?
Yes, so typically the base price per vehicle, so if you want just a super simple clean, is $60, but let's say, you know, they want.
I told my buddy who deals with them to get O&R, it would be perfect, but no, we have our methods. Oh, right. Yeah, I've seen that kind of response sometimes, and it's like, I'm not trying to sell you a product here. I'm trying to convince you that there is a different method, a product that results in a different method that saves you time and therefore money. It is amazing the difference it makes. And the cars come out just as clean. I don't care what anybody says, some smart ass commenter on a YouTube video somewhere, oh, rinseless wash doesn't clean as well as soap does. I like my foam can or whatever. The foam is for the show. As everybody here knows, Levi's favorite saying is, what is it, guys? I know you can comment this one. Go ahead and throw it in the chat. You know the phrase. Something about honeys and monies, I think you know. All right, anyway, moving on.
Want us to do some tire shine, some wax here and there.
For real
some
though,
polish
Jamie,
work.
O&R would
that
save
could
them
cost all the
so
way up
much
to
money.
$140.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
How did you?
But they'll
how
be
were you able to
stubborn.
secure,
They won't change.
You know,
and
this
they'll
special
never
large
understand.
client.
Yeah, so
they're
most
working harder
dealerships
for
actually
zero
reach out
benefit.
to me because of our online presence. We have such, you know, good reviews and so many of them that they're usually
That's a good
come to
track
us
record
first.
right there.
How did you get your first customer? What are some tips on that?
Yeah. So getting your first customer. can
Seriously,
be as
Alex,
simple
that's
as-
right. And Flack, yeah, I have to rinseless. I have to rinseless from about mid-November until late March. It's not a fun thing to do, but can't deny it works. Exactly. Yeah. Like when you're using foam, obviously it's very satisfying to watch the foam work its way over the car. It's great for videos because it's a strong visual element you can use to draw attention to your video. When you're doing rinseless wash, not as compelling to watch, but you're essentially doing what you would be doing with that soap. The difference is the actual product itself, if it's a really good rinseless wash, it's actually better than soap. You've heard the whole spiel before, but the reality is, yes, it is better. It is safer for your car. It doesn't look like it because your brain is telling you, no, I need suds and foam and all this shit to help me, you know, understand that there's something protecting my car as I'm wiping along it. That just makes me feel better. And this O&R stuff, when I look at it, or any other rinseless wash, it just looks like I'm rubbing water on the car. I don't understand. It may look like that, but the difference in what you're actually touching there is drastic. It's amazing that people can't fathom how that works, even when it's explained to them. They're just like, it's bullshit, snake oil, whatever. No, it really does make a difference. And you can clean cars all day long with a rinseless wash and not scratch a single one. Wash them with soap, you might scratch one. Maybe.
As, you know, calling up your aunt or uncle. But if you don't have a lot of family members, you know, where you live in, maybe you moved away.
Saskatoon.
Facebook. So, you know, you have about, you know, a couple hundred
Or
friends on
Saskatchewan.
Facebook, hopefully.
I don't know. I'm just throwing
You can
words
reach
out there.
To, you know, any one of them that you think might need a car detail. You know, let's say they have a car, they're established, they could afford it.
Beg them to give you your
Yeah,
business.
and you could just say like, hey, I'm starting out this business. Could you support me? And could I earn your trust? I'll give you like a discount because you're going to be one of my first customers. And, you know, get your first customers that way.
Okay.
Okay, I only just noticed this insane looking bundle of lights over his head that's like a big wavy snake of just LED bar lights running the entire length of the building. I'm sure it's fine, but something just makes my brain want to say, that looks like a fire hazard.
Awesome. Okay, guys, Alan has an incredible offer for you guys in terms of resources to build a business. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure. So included down below, we're going to have a free mini course you could take on how to start your detailing business, as well as a paid course, which goes more in depth of how to make $10,000 per month in less than 3.
Yes, Scott, you can use O&R on single stage paint. It's what we use to clean my Miata all the time. So speak from experience, definitely. Also, who's got a speed 3?
months detailing.
Wow.
And
Or
I
are we not
kinda,
talking about a
you know,
Mazda?
I came up with this offer myself after not being able to find adequate information online. So I kind of just packaged all my information.
Oh, you can tell. Yeah, it's a Mazda Speed 3 because you can see the diffuser on the back, that white one up there. It's a second gen, the one with the manic grin on the front. ONR works well on all the things. Yes, that is true, Jamie. I mean, really, you can use ONR or any good rinseless wash, really good rinseless wash, but ONR is a favorite. It can be used on anything you want to clean. And like Anthony says, he used it to clean the baseboards in his house. Honestly, I would use ONR before a lot of other things when it comes to cleaning supplies, just to clean almost anything. If there's something where you're like, oh, I'm worried I might hurt it, try ONR. Before you use any other kind of cleaning product, chances are ONR will clean something in the safest way possible. You're not going to leave crap behind. It's fine when you wipe away. It's good. You're good. So, yeah, we used it to wash the walls in TRC, the building we're in. We literally washed all the walls and ceilings and floors with ONR, with mops, literally by hand, just like my parents, myself, John. We all just went around and mopped the whole thing when we first got the building because that was the easiest way to clean stuff off. Then if you want to paint over that, that's great. Do whatever you're going to do. But like to clean the stuff, get rid of the cobwebs. This building had sat empty for like 4 years. So it was just full of dust and all that stuff. But anyway, it made a big difference. And it works as great as a clay lube. You just have to dilute it slightly differently. Yeah.
Into one course that gives you everything you need to know.
So you built this course, designed it.
Yes.
Okay. We'll make sure there's a link in the description
Yeah,
below.
look at
You
that
guys check
freaking snake
out.
of lights.
And don't forget to check out our podcast blog as well. We've got 11
Man,
employees.
Alex, those are
We've
some
got
really
3
Canadian
vans,
sounding
4
places.
detail jobs every day. How do you stay organized? I mean, is there a software that you use? Do you keep it all in your head?
Yeah, so
share with that.
we started using an app not too long ago. It's called House Call Pro.
Okay, see, remember when I was back looking at his site and I was like, this is on something called House Call Pro. Well, go.
Yeah, and it kind of keeps all of our customers in one place. It shows us our schedule for the day. I'm able to share jobs with employees, and it's the bread and butter of our business.
Nice. What are you paying for? Is it a subscription or?
Yeah, so it's a monthly subscription. It starts at $50, which is the plan I was on when I was starting out by myself. Now it's closer to like $300 a month, and that comes with more premium features, but you don't need those to start out.
Okay.
Nice.
What else are you using to stay organized besides the app and that software, if anything?
Yeah, so definitely having an accountant helps, someone that could help you with payroll. That's a big part of it. Also, we use Google Sheets.
Yeah, Scott, totally safe to use ONR and single stage paint. If you'd wash a car with soap, you can wash it with ONR. Anything you feel comfortable using soap on, you can use ONR on it. Obviously, I draw the line at cleaning your own body. You'd use shampoo like a normal human, but you get it. I mean, of all the chemicals you could accidentally get on your body, though, ONR is probably, bar none, the safest.
Sheets for like our dealership clients, just to keep all the car lists organized.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we did this many cars today, this many tomorrow.
Okay. In terms of, marketing and online presence, I know we've touched on it earlier, but what's been really working for you when you started first?
Yeah.
And what are you doing now that's different from the start that's also working well?
Sure. So back when I was starting, I would mostly focus on free advertising or free marketing. So that includes that Google My Business I mentioned.
Okay.
That's definitely the biggest tool you'll ever find when starting any business, I personally believe. So now we...
All right, Alex. Have yourself a good night. Glad you can hang out with us. It's been real. It's been fun. I'm glad you were here to chat with everybody. Now I think you made a new friend in Flag, so that's cool. Bringing people together. That's what Great Dane Films does. That's right, folks. We're loving it here. All right, moving along.
Just do,
Have a
we
good night.
still have that natural free marketing that we're working on constantly, but we are also doing paid advertising.
Gotcha.
Which you don't need to start out, to be honest.
Where are you doing
You
paid
don't.
advertising?
So we have paid placement on Google Ads. So let's say someone searches car detailing in their area, we're going to pop out on
Power
top.
of Twitch.
But honestly, Google My Business and good reviews is all you need to start out.
Okay.
For real.
So you mentioned reviews many times now, and obviously it's very important. What's your process for asking for reviews? How do you
Setting
how
a
do you
review.
follow through with that?
So Google doesn't have any rules on asking your friends for reviews, so I would start there. Or let's say you have a distant family member that you detail for, or even a closer family member. You know, anyone could review your business.
Okay.
So I would start there with.
If you're reading between the lines of what he's saying he says if you detail for him, but honestly, I'm sure there's more than a few of these people out here who have done it where they're just like, hey, get my cousin to like leave a review. And they did it.
Your, you know, just local connections like neighbors, friends, family. I would get as many reviews as you can just to boost your business so other people see it.
How are you asking for reviews once you've finished the job with the client? Is there a process that you have?
So it's all integrated into the House Call app.
Okay.
So after you know a detail's complete for like a mobile detail, we would then our system would automatically send out like a review request. Like,
I see. Okay.
Can you rate our work? And that's when the customer would put in that Google review.
There's that speed through.
So walk us through the process here with this dealer client. How do things work from A to Z?
Sure. So the cars come in at that entrance. That's our first stage of the
Sorry
process.
for the guy who
just
has to wash
washing
that Grumman
exteriors.
van over there.
Then they come over here. We blow dry them. There's the blow dryer
Got it.
hanging.
Okay.
And then these final two stages, they're vacuuming the cars. They're doing a nice dusting. And then at the end, you know, they do the final touch-ups, check off the checklist, make sure nothing was missed, and then send them on their way to the client.
Are they driving the cars in and out, or do you have somebody else doing that?
So my guys are responsible for driving them in and out.
So you have a checklist. Can you show us the checklist, or kind of what's unique about it?
Sure, I could kind of go through it with you, but basically, it's just to prevent, you know, from us from missing anything. They have to get the trunk, we have to get the wheels, shine everything, make sure there's no dust, and we actually focus on primarily the driver's seat. So
Yeah, you want to focus on that because obviously, even if there's no passengers, the driver's seat is where the action is. That's where the owner of the vehicle will be. That's the area that, you know, anywhere in that vicinity, that perimeter, their eyes are going to be looking at all the stuff within arm's reach. So naturally, you want that to be the absolute most impressive spot of the whole car. If you had to sacrifice time anywhere else, you want to make sure you go above and beyond in that perimeter.
the customer comes in, where do they sit? It's going to be in the driver's seat, so the driver's seat has to look pristine all around.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we put a little more effort in that section of the car than the rest.
Let's talk about skills that you need to get into this business. What kind of skills do you need?
So starting out, you don't need many skills. You just need, you know, attention to detail and good communication. Like, you want to be able to answer all the client's questions thoroughly, make sure they're satisfied with the job you do, and, you know, just answer any specific.
Oh, because as a detailer, if you think about it, you're taking what is oftentimes people's second largest purchase they ever make in their life. Outside of a home, if they make a purchase of a home, then that would be the first most expensive, likely. But the second most expensive would be a vehicle. And some people have multiple vehicles, but if they got just one or multiple, whatever, in this case, one, it's their baby, it's their pride and joy. They spent money on it, they care, presumably. Although there are definitely people out there who will just be like, yeah, whatever, just fix it. They are trusting you not to mess this up. So, yeah, there's a degree of concern there that hopefully you can alleviate by showing that you come across as competent, professional, etc., etc. There's ways to win people over, of course. But, yeah, no, the most important thing you can do is just appear like you actually know what you're doing. So, yeah, pro tip.
Specifics about the detail, like let's say there's a smudge here, can you get rid of that? There's a weird smell here, can you handle that?
Gotcha. Okay. Any
enzyme removers will do a lot for those weird smells, assuming they are protein based.
entrepreneurial skills that you can think of that later on would be very beneficial in order to continue scaling?
Having a good marketing presence, you know, online presence is really big. Not a lot of people know how to do social media, so having that, you know, under your tool belt is really important.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much are you spending on advertising? I don't think I asked that question.
Yeah, so on advertising for Google, we're roughly spending about $5,000. That's with Google, with Facebook, with everything else we're doing.
Oh, he's going pretty hard
we're
there.
expecting at least, you know, a 3-4x return on that investment.
Let's talk about employees a little bit. How many employees do you have, and what are you paying them? What's the structure like?
Sure. So the mobile detailers that do these jobs, they're kind of on a commission-based salary. So, you know, they're getting about 30 to 35% of the total detail price, depending on whether it's a regular detail, whether it's a ceramic coating detail. There's a lot that goes into it. I do have other employees that work at dealerships. I just pay them hourly. We have really good wages, so I like to, you know, incentivize people to work with us.
What are you paying them as far as the hourly rate?
Yeah, so
just ask him.
Typically, they start out at $20.
Oh, wow.
And they could work all the way up to $35, and our margins are pretty high.
I was just saying, honestly, as an employee working for someone else doing detailing, that's a pretty attractive rate, I would say, compared to some of the stuff I've seen out there. That's honestly kind of impressive.
So that allows for that.
What would be your advice as far as employees and just securing the right, you know, talented people? Like, where do you find them? Like, what's your experience been to hire 11 people?
Yeah, Scott, you're right. What this kid deserves credit for is efficiency. He stripped down any excess. It's more of a light detail with cheap towels. Might not be up to my standards, but they are moving a lot of cars, though. And yeah, to put in perspective, like, you know, when Levi, my you know, day job coworker, he'll say things like, "Oh, I've been through 40,000 cars in my life," and so he's not exaggerating. It sounds insane, but he's not exaggerating when he says he's been through that many cars. Yeah, because that's what they detailed and stuff. And yeah, they were churning. But when you work like this guy does, they did stuff like that. Yeah, you're gonna move through a lot of cars. It won't all be memorable. But at the same time, if it pays the bills and you're happy with what you're doing, you're getting the exercise. Hopefully you're not beating your body up too much, because with chemicals, you always got to be careful. But yeah, no, for the right person, it is definitely an appealing path for people to take in terms of I guess you could say career, because some people stick with it the whole way through. But usually a lot of these guys will start out, they'll be like him, they'll build it up. Although a lot of people, to be fair, don't necessarily reach the level of success that this kid has. And I'm very impressed with what he's managed to do in his short 22 years of life on Earth. But yeah, no, that's impressive. But there's a lot of guys out there who have really, really successful shops. Everything works great for them, or they're mobile and they succeed that way. But eventually, they do try and find a way kind of out, because they've beaten their bodies up enough that over time, there's just a natural progression where you want to establish some kind of exit strategy. Just because if you do that every day of your life right up until you die, if that's what you like doing, okay. But I think a lot of people, they're working because they want to be able to enjoy their time when they're not working, and to have that comfort that comes with being able to pay the bills and have some stuff left over to be able to have a little fun. So I totally get it. And it sounds like these guys are a pretty good balance. Yeah, they're on the cheaper side, but for a lot of the people out there who want details like that, that's all they were ever really going to be willing to do anyway. So I can definitely understand that. Granted, there's a lot more cars on the road that could be detailed. You find the right way to approach those customers, but this guy's got it figured out pretty well, I gotta say.
Yeah, so there's a few ways. The best one I found was actually Snapchat. Just putting on posts, $20 per hour,
Snapchat,
hiring, you know, and then when you're interviewing them, you want to make sure they got some hustle in them. They're pretty well-rounded. They could talk to customers, and, you know, just gauge the employees by how they talk to you.
Of course,
So
you got to
you
give a
show
little
up to,
POV action with the phone
a
cannon.
client. Before you start touching their vehicle, is there anything else you do that's important?
Sure, yeah. Let me show you. We've got this clipboard, actually. So every client has to fill out this service agreement. This is super important. This protects us as a
It's a waiver.
company from, damages we could incur during the detail. It goes over pre-existing damages. It allows us to take before
Welcome
and after
to the chat, MetaGhost34. I don't know who you are by an alter ego or anything, but welcome. Nice to see you here. Thank you for following. Much appreciated. Trying to get up to that magical 50 number so that I can keep the cruise going, but you just help with that big time, so thank you.
pictures of their car with their permission. So this is probably the key thing I would have,
Right now we're
any
learning
mobile
how this
detailer
22-year-old
pick
managed to
up when
run
they're first starting out.
insanely
Did you draft this
successful
yourself, or
detailing
did you
business,
just went
mobile
with the format,
detailing.
or any tips, tricks on people making sure that what needs to be said is in there?
Yeah, so I drafted this myself. I looked at a few others just to get some ideas, and I kind of just tried to make it better.
Okay.
Well, that's cool. So you must usually watch games then, huh?
So I'll add a link in the description, but I'm not a legal advisor. I
Right.
can't give legal advice. Definitely have somebody look it over for you.
Use it if you want to use it, right?
Use it if you want to use it.
Okay. That's for you guys. Talk to us about your supply relationships, right, with suppliers. How did you settle with them? And
Hey,
how
I
did you
love cars
find
too.
them?
I'm happy to see
Any
more
tips,
people in
advice
here
on
who love
just finding
cars.
the right stuff and having the right.
I feel like it's one of those things where, yeah, everything is gaming here on Twitch, but occasionally you'll see some interesting other angles that get out there. But in this case, yeah, I feel like it's kind of an underserved market. So thank you for going nuts with the emojis. Obviously, keeping it lively in here. Anyway, I'm going to keep going here, but thank you.
Right relationship with suppliers.
Yeah, so starting out, you definitely want to ask your supplier a lot of questions, like what the products can be used for, how to use the products. They're going to be able to help you answer all those questions.
Are they the ones that would basically educating you, right? If you don't know something.
Yeah, let's say you don't know how to handle a specific, type of defect, like they'll advise you with the tool and, product to use for that specific case.
Okay.
So that could be really helpful when starting out and not knowing everything in the beginning.
How does the supplies work here for this particular client? Because it's just like you said, a treadmill, right?
Yeah, so this is kind of assembly line process. We use a lot more chemicals here than we would, in our mobile detailing. The supplier comes.
Well, and Flack, to be fair, like when you're in this kind of more high volume environment for detailing, you're going to see some brands that are very much like not at the typical consumer level where it's like brands you heard of and all that kind of stuff. Things you're going to find on the shelf or down the YouTube rabbit hole or during somebody's detailing product awards or any of that stuff. It's definitely different. So yeah, no, there's whole industries made around these products that just end up going out to basically the service providers like these guys, where the end user is, yeah, just somebody who's using them privately or whatever. They're not out here advertising like, I only use car products, kind of thing like that. When you go to some of these detailing trade shows and stuff, you'll see those actual brands there. So it is very interesting to see like the people behind them. But yeah, they basically, I don't know, operate in the shadows makes it sound like they're nefarious or something. They're not. They're operating with like large customer bases that are at this kind of like production level. So it's a different animal. The stuff is like coming out in like huge container sizes because it's turn and burn kind of stuff. The products may be sometimes more caustic or whatever, it depends. But yeah, it's definitely not boutique. Totally different animal.
Every other Tuesday here, and they come on a work truck.
Yeah, like a
with all
car
the
wash chemicals
tools
kind of
necessary
brand.
to detail.
Nice.
One of my guys just hops on board, just looks what we're missing, and picks out the products we need for those 2 weeks.
Is that a relationship thing? Or
I wanna
do
say yeah,
every
Flack. I think
suppliers or
that's
all
the case,
suppliers
too.
Do that kind of a service.
So
I'm trying to
most
remember
suppliers-
how it used to be, but I know like who I don't remember off the top of my head exactly who owns who at this point, but I know that there's a lot of that kind of stuff out there where like a brand will get picked up by a chemical company, or a well-known brand will then buy like a chemical production house that used to make products for them, and now it's the other way around and they own them. I've seen that happen, stuff like that. But yeah, there's big ones out there like B&B or Werner, or companies like, they're big production chemical companies like that make a lot of stuff. But it is interesting, like even P&S Chemicals, they basically were a huge like car wash product supplier. And yeah, if P&S didn't come out with like the double black line or some of the other stuff like that, that's more like consumer facing, more like, oh, online audience friendly. Yeah, you definitely run into a lot of stuff like that where, yeah, they're making chemicals that really just kind of make their way to these end users, operators who really like using them and stuff, but they're not things that people are like bragging about on social media and stuff. It's a different animal. So yeah, no, that's kind of the world that, you know, P&S also makes chemicals like that, but then they also make the stuff that people really enjoy that they do like to brag about on, you know, the internet too. So it's kind of a fun mix that they found a balance for.
Offer that mobile service.
Nice. Okay.
Some of them you're going to have to go into their warehouse and pick them out. So it's not, you know, too big of a stretch for you to do.
Right.
You know, you're going to be restocking maybe once a month. It doesn't take that much time to do.
Earlier in the video, we mentioned
I'm
an
glad Levi was
incredible
able to help
success tip
you with vacuum
that generates Alan 3 extra clients per mobile detailing job. So, Alan, talk to us about what that is.
Sure. So this is one of the biggest investments you could make in a mobile detailing company, just picking up one of these A-frames.
That's clever. Okay, so this kid, I don't mean to be demeaning calling him a kid. He's 22. He's a man at this point, but you know, compared to me, he's exactly 11 years younger than me. So I'm gonna call him a kid here just because. A very industrious kid, smart, knows his shit. He's figured out a thing that works for him. And these A-frames, that's a very clever idea. Good job.
You could pick one of these up for $250, but they're gonna last you a lifetime.
That's incredible. And this thing, which costs, like you said, a few $100, generates 3 customers on average.
Yeah, so
no,
you know,
that's freaking genius.
by.
That's the kind of thing where I would look at that and go, oh, I wish I came up with that. That's really, that's a good one. That's a very good. I can't say I've seen many mobile, you know, detailing outfits using stuff like that. It's different than putting it on your van or your car or whatever else you're using. This, you can like take it and place it different places where it's going to be higher traffic. It's going to draw more eyeballs because maybe you have to park somewhere that doesn't necessarily do that. But the A-frame, you can put that about anywhere.
Driving by, you set this on the main street wherever you're detailing, and people would take pictures. They might ask the detailer about the actual jobs, and it kind of just draws the eye to what we're doing here.
That's awesome. That's an incredible tip, and you guys should
Very,
definitely invest
very
in this
smart.
right now.
I'm looking at that and I'm going, that's one of the smartest things I've seen so far here for a mobile detailer specifically.
Let's talk about seasonality of your business, right? In the winter, people don't detail their cars as much. In the summer, it gets crazy. How are you adjusting to these seasonalities? Any tips, tricks, things you're doing?
Yeah, so dealership clients are year-round, so I'd advise you to be able to, you know, get a dealership client if possible, because that's going to keep you busy all year round. And
something like this.
Something like this, which is tough to get from the get-go, but if you keep working on it, get those reviews, get your website right, I'm sure they're going to call.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else are you doing in the summer? Are you hiring more when it's busy, or?
Yeah. So
let's dive into it more.
Yeah. So I have more crews in the summer. There's more people on mobile.
He couldn't be more right, Flack. I'd rather this guy teach me mobile detailing than an angry ball guy in Texas. Yes. Very valid. Very fair. Good.
We do a lot more full details compared to the winter, where we're focused on interior details, like I mentioned. Because, you know, once you clean the exterior and you go outside, it's all gross out there, raining. Those, you know, the car's not going to stay clean for long.
Right. As far as marketing, though, do you ship marketing as well? Do you change things on that when it comes to seasonality?
Yeah. So, you know, for each season, we kind of have our own special. You know, let's say there's like a summer special, you know, winter special. We have different packages to accommodate the needs of people during different times of the year.
No, it's so dumb simple,
right?
but I
So
love
let's
that A-frame idea.
Dive into
Such
it.
a
What's
great
your
idea.
favorite business book?
They Ask You Answer by Marcus Sheridan.
Okay. What's the single most important factor for expanding any business?
Getting the right employees.
Got it. Okay. What's the one thing you cannot start your day without except coffee?
Tea.
Tea. Okay. What's your
It's just
ultimate
the
business
coffee
superpower?
answer, but with a
I would
different.
make sure all of my customers are 100% satisfied.
Now, at this stage of success, what advice would you give to your teen self?
Hustle, stay motivated, don't quit.
This is fan blitz questions, so thank you guys for submitting your questions. We really appreciate that. This is from Richard. What are his best strategies and tactics to seek, attract, and retain potential customers?
Make sure your marketing's on points. Make sure everything is...
Well, the Google My Business was a big one. Another big one is sitting right in front of him on the ground there.
Flows good, your website looks good, your flyers look good, your business cards look good, and come to work with a smile. Last thing people want to see is, you know, a down employee.
Well, it's not even necessarily like a down employee, like somebody's sad. It's literally sometimes you go into a business and you're about to ask them about potentially doing something on your vehicle. And there are some people, I'm not just saying it's like a resting bitch face kind of thing, because there are some people who just have that and they can't help it. But there are people who very clearly are just like pissed off. And maybe something lousy happened to them in the last few minutes that you didn't see, whatever the case may be. But when you carry that over to a customer who has had zero interaction with you and you're about to engage with them on something that involves a potential, you know, transaction there, that's going to start you off on a really terrible foot, because everything after that is just going to feel like the customer is going to feel like they're irritating you, even if they're not, or maybe they are, and you're just letting them know a little too much. But I think that it's a difficult position to be in, because it can only it can only have like a negative outcome if you lay that kind of, you know, layer of paint on that pissed off kind of look, whatever, fine, what do you want, you know, kind of thing, soup Nazi kind of thing, you know. But no, it has an effect on people, and they may not say it when they're talking to you in the moment, but if they feel that vibe from you that you just can't wait for them to leave and they go away, they're probably not coming back, and they probably won't be very excited about, you know, your business. And so yeah, getting people who behave that way, trying to keep them away from the front desk at least, or whatever situation you got, highly advisable. But you know, people have bad days. You can't prevent that entirely. It's just choose your battles.
There you go. Okay, this is from Quinster48. How many hours do you work a day or a week?
I'm always on the clock. I'm picking up calls all day long from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then, you know, when I go to bed before bedtime, you know, I might change the website, so I'm always working.
Gotcha. And last from Jesse Blanding Jr. Ask him anything from startup costs and where he gets his supplies. And I know this will vary from town, but I guess where do you get your supplies? And anything else you want to mention?
Sure. So you could get your supplies from AutoMagic. I get them from a local supplier called Northwest Auto Solutions, and they do a great job at, you know, making a chemical that works the right way, has us work quick, and does a great job.
Awesome.
Nice little Lowe's and Home Depot buckets next to each other, just in case we seem biased or anything.
What's next for Go Detail? What's your goal for the next 12 to 24 months?
Yeah, so I want to get more vans just like this one. I want to get 2 more by February, and then get 2 more mobile detailing crews.
Gotcha. Yeah. So right now you have how many vans?
Busy guy.
So right now we have 3 cars.
You have 3, okay.
Yeah, so I want to get that number up to 5 in the next few months, and that'll, you know, probably, right now we're doing 4 mobile details a day, and when that happens, we'll be at 8 mobile details a day.
Wow. Alan, in conclusion, this is the last question. What's the most important single thing that would help you get more clients?
Sure, so above all else, reviews. I keep mentioning it throughout this video for so long because it is the most crucial step. If you don't have those reviews, you're not going to have any trust. No one's going to reach out to you.
He's totally right about the reviews,
focus on getting up to at least 20 reviews to start out.
Yeah, when there's like 2 or 3 reviews, people aren't buying it yet. Once you cross 10, okay, you're starting to make a bit of an impression. I think something really does click in people's brains once they see at least 15 to 20. Then they're much more likely to trust you. It's just whatever the psychology is behind that. 15 to 20 seems to be the sweet spot. Once you're past that, you're pretty good. Before that, though, yeah, it's a little It's a little dicey. Tony, yeah, just in case someone's about to think the setup was premium, box store buckets. You know what? He's keeping it real. He's doing his thing. He makes it work for him. So yeah, I mean, for his customer base, it makes sense then. But no, I'm honestly, like, it seems so simple, but I'm blown away by the little A-frame thing with the QR code and stuff. It makes so much sense. It's such a simple idea, but I love that very basic ingenuity. It's a good touch. Very smart. Good job, guy.
Gotcha. Okay. Any last piece of advice or words to our audience?
Sure. So stay motivated. Don't quit. It's not going to come easy, but, you know, stick with it, and you're going to see the results.
It's awesome. Keeping it simple. This has been great, Alan. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Likewise.
Correct, Flag. He's not trying to be esoteric. That is interesting, though. Okay, so they have, like, other car detailing videos, which is interesting there. Huh. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. This has been a very fun, mostly detailing Monday. I think we lived up to the name. I'm glad we had everybody in here enjoying the time with us as well. And yeah, so I'm still working on building up the audience here, but sorry, MetaGhost, I don't really have a dono set up right now. That should hopefully happen down the road as I build the channel here, but I don't think I'm at that point yet. So, you know, when I get there, let you know. But yeah, guys, I think this is a good place to go ahead and call it a night. It's been fun, and I think we learned some stuff today. I felt like I got some valuable info out of this, and I hope you did too. Or at the very least, we had a good time chatting about it together. So yeah, no, it's been nice. And Scott, yeah, no, I hope at some point you are able to transition into actually running a detailing business and making that your main thing. Because if that's your goal, then you should find a way to see through it to your goal. Let's see, what else is going on? Oh, right. Yeah, so I was working on trying to establish my YouTube channel here, get this going. Obviously, only about 51 subscribers on this one. I have two channels that I'm running on this one, but yeah, I got my Great Dane Films clips, and I've got my Great Dane Films. The idea behind them is mostly 82 subscribers on that one. That's my old channel. Check this out. Joined August 3rd, 2006. Yes, goes way back. But yeah, no, you're welcome for the motivation. I really do hope it helps you, though. But yeah, I'm trying to build up these channels. Obviously, there's nothing to see on them yet, but I've uploaded a bunch of videos and stuff. So hopefully, eventually, I can start releasing clips on this channel, that kind of stuff. So like my YouTube friends can actually stay in touch that way. They can see what's going on here on the Twitch channel if they're not about that Twitch life. But for those of you who are about that Twitch life, I really appreciated having you all here. So thank you for riding with me on this. And thank you to Brian Cal77 who just followed. So thank you for that. Getting us one step closer to the goal of the month, which is hitting that 50 mark, getting people there so that I can keep bumping up my Twitch presence. Because these things, they don't Twitch themselves or whatever they say there. Anyway, I've got a job to do. We are doing the Rad Company podcast tomorrow, so you can look forward to seeing Anthony, Levi, and myself all chatting there, catching up about our weekends. Unfortunately, can't talk about Anthony's project car, van, truck, wagon, whatever, just yet. But eventually we'll be able to talk about it. In the meantime, I think I'm going to go catch up and just chill. I'm going to go find a few things to do before it's time to wrap up for the night. But for you guys, I hope you have a wonderful evening. And Brian Cal, thank you so much for popping in here at the last second. I'm just wrapping up, but I really appreciate you following. I'll tell you what, though, before I go, I will say, later this week, maybe not tomorrow, because I may sell the Thunderbird tomorrow. Hopefully it happens. Guy says I'll show up with cash, and I'll show up with the title, just in case it really goes through. But yeah, no, you hit me up on the next one. I appreciate that. So on the next stream, when I go a little later this week, obviously Mondays are for detailing, but I also have some fun with streaming on other days too, say like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, something like that. I'm going to be throwing out some pretty wild playlist ideas I've got here. I've got some fun stuff, like just crazy dating shows and other things like that. Just fun stuff to watch. Way to, blow off some steam. Just kick it at the end of the day. So I hope you guys join me for that too. Anyway, that's us here at the end of the line. thank you so much. If you can find the Great Dane Films channels on YouTube, please go ahead, give those a subscribe as well, because I will start uploading clips and full streams, hopefully, to there if they don't get totally demonetized, because Twitch and YouTube are a little different about that. But anyway, I just want to make you aware so that you can go check it out there too. All right, that's everything. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the music now. We'll start playing, rolling. Go, maybe kind of sort of. Little tune. Okay, that's it. Guys, thank you so much. We're heading out for real this time. Okay, need a drink. Have a good night.